So boys, how do you decide if you're going to get a double of a collectible? For me, it doesn't happen very often, right? Because there's so much stuff coming out. You normally have to pinch every penny to really get as many figures as you possibly can. But every now and then there's a figure that comes along that you're like, man, I want multiple display options for this. Like, I know for sure I want to do it like this, but I also want to do it like this. And, I think I've said a few times that Mando Luke Skywalker, I think it's just like a beautiful figure. And I kind of want two of them, but I'm having a hard time justifying. But Dean, how about you? What do you normally do to, make heads or tails of that?
Yeah, I mean, ideally I'd have two of each of my figures. But really, like, this deciding factor is price. Like today, Zach found the Elden Ring figure that I already have, and I was like, "Well, how much is it?" Because if it's $40, I'll buy it again. Unfortunately, it was like 80 because of the shipping and stuff. But I was like, "Well, I paid 40 for mine. Like, I'm not gonna pay 80 for a second one,
You can't.
So yeah, it's usually price as the deciding factor. If it's cheap enough, I'll pick up a second.
I don't double up often. The only time I've ever doubled up on a 1/6 scale figure at the same time, it was the. Well, okay, I guess the only other time that I've
The only other time, all right?
Yeah, it was the Toys Era Mysterio, and that's because one of our Patreon members back then, I had bought one for like quite a bit of money, and they're like, "Oh, I have a set, and I'll sell it to you for like," it was like next to nothing, because it had some damage to it, and so I doubled up then. I am in the process of doubling or maybe even tripling up on a figure, and I will save that for new this week because
really? Okay.
It ended up being such a weird situation that like it's unexplainable. I don't really understand how it happened. Yeah.
For me, I have never doubled up on a figure, and I honestly don't picture myself doing it. The fact that Hot Toys are posable, you can change them, you can walk up to your display anytime you want and turn it into something new is an exciting aspect of the hobby for me. So for me to buy a second figure just so I can leave it in a static pose, I find really tough to justify.
That's a really good point, Ben.
It happened to me even just recently, though, Marco, so it's a great question, like with my Bo-Katan figure that I got last week. Like, not displaying the Katie Sackhoff head sculpt feels like kind of a shame. But the helmet on the figure is so badass that's how I've had it posed the whole week. But for me, I just have to remember that, again, like I just said, you can walk up to it anytime you want and repose it. That's part of the fun. That's part of the inspiration that I get out of the hobby. So I try to stick with one per figure so I can save those coins for the next one.
It's a good rule of thumb. How about you, John?
Well, I had to buy two DeLoreans, one for parts, and wow, nobody? That was solid.
I'm laughing over here. I was on
That's
mute.
pretty
So I'm
good.
laughing.
That's okay.
I was chuckling. I was
I was
The only
okay until I
time-
remember John would never buy a remake or a reissue.
Yeah, that was the giveaway.
I only bought the same figure twice, whatever. Double. The Royal Guards.
Oh, yeah, you need two of those. Yeah.
You need two of those. Other than that, no, I would never buy. Unless it's like buy one, get one free. I don't think I would ever buy two of the same figure.
So like sideshow sale last week.
There you go.
Wow.
Are you an angel?
What?
An angel. I heard the deep space pilots talk about them. They're the most beautiful creatures in the universe.
Hello there. We are tonight's entertainment.
We would be honored if you would join us.
He's got a billion toys.
You brought in the doll collection. These are not dolls, Jim. These are commodities. Same as gold or oil.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
You are now listening to the Collecting Weekly podcast.
Should we lock in the artillery power?
This is the true form of floor gang right here. Very nice. YouTube.com/collectingweekly. Thank you very much. That's very cool. Big.
Hey guys, my name is Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm John.
I'm Marco.
And I'm Ben.
Welcome to this week's episode of Collecting Weekly. It's a weekly podcast where my friends and I talk about the things that matter the most to us this week in collecting.
That's right. We want to thank everyone out there in TV lands, watching us on the replay, catching us live, wherever you're listening. Thank you.
Yeah, you guys are great. We have a great show planned for you guys tonight. We actually have so much news that we had to cut news out. So maybe we'll cover some of it tomorrow on After Dark, but it is a jam-packed show. We have maybe a little bit of drama. I got scammed, and we're going scorched earth on this cuck boy. In the chat, we got Toy Mafia, Samgis, Tukatri, 12-inch Moose Stream. Hello, community of collectors. I got the sideshow deal for the Mark 85 Battle Damage cheap.
Pickup.
It's like 150 off. That was wild.
Crazy.
King Dingaling, Samgis, been eating some CW in my life. Juan says, thanks, Marco, for ignoring my Instagram messages.
I
Anyways,
just responded.
I'm here supporting
My
CW. Slifer, Danny Lee, Absolute Irwin, Mark Pearson, Doc Smizzle. I'm here for tonight's entertainment. Vane 21. I want to hear Dean tell me more about the Punchline statue. Pablo Meza, Alvin J, Danik and Lee Walker, Lane, the Legend, Kramer, PT Works, Calvin, Loki Collector. I may have said this, but Pablo Meza, Jazzy, Tukatri, John's in the chat and in the stream. Same with Ben. You'll love to see it. And David Jones. Let's make it a good show. Let's make it a great show, guys. It's going to be a good one. Big Ol' Fern, Mojo Z78. Dean, we have a very special segment that we like to start off all the best shows with.
That was me. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
It's new this week.
Yeah. What'd you get new this week? I had a pretty good week. I finally finished two teams.
I absolutely hate you.
Why?
Because you got Carter, bro. I've been looking over this figure for months,
Okay,
bro.
to be fair, I was like, fuck it. I'll pay a scalper. Okay, one guy had it on Mercari, and he like refused to budge on the price. And I was like, bro, with tax and the shipping you're asking, I'm paying almost $50 for this figure. And he's like, well, mine's the cheapest like on Mercari. I was like, yeah, dude, but those aren't selling either. Like, and then magically he had two of them, both sold the same day. I was like, get the fuck out of here. You fucking gabagool eating
Trying to set the comps over here.
Yeah, I was like, get fucked. So I just went to eBay and found the guy who had it for the same price, but free shipping. So I only had to pay the tax. So yeah, I got it for under 40, which is nice. But yeah, I paid a scalper. But yeah, so I finished Noble Team and I finished Delta Squad with the Black Series. Is it Scourge? I forget which one it is.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. There's Scourge, Sev, Fixer, and whatever the other one's name is. But yeah, Boss. I think this is Scourge.
Boss.
Yeah. And then I picked up some Ava figures. I've wanted an Asuka and Rey in my collection for the longest time. And I wanted something bigger than 6 inches, which honestly is
pretty
more
huge.
than enough. Yeah.
I mean, that's massive.
Yeah.
It's almost a monument at that point.
Yeah. I think these are probably technically 6 scale. But yeah, they were, they're not Ichiban Kuji. They're something else. Ichibanshi?
Here it comes.
Bless you.
Bless you.
There you go. I didn't know John was going to get that one. I didn't know if you were going to get that one. I didn't know if you were going to get that one.
In your lane, Zach.
Wow.
Hang on, John. Hang on, John. Here we go. Where's the button?
A man can only admit when he was wrong and ask forgiveness.
I didn't see you smirk or
That's
anything.
even worse. 'Cause I hate that clip.
Favorite clip.
I know you do, but I had to do it.
Dean,
Yeah,
where do these go on the ramen though? Like, how do you?
God damn it. You
Wow.
fucking guy. Remove him from the show.
All right, get
But
him
yeah,
out
that
of here.
was anyway, I picked these up. So I have kind of my definitive Asuka and Rey. Because I like the Asuka from the original series. I don't like the outfit they give her later in the rebuild.
The white one?
It's the white one or
it's like real orange.
Yeah. I like the
Yeah.
regular look. I think this is technically rebuild. I don't know. I'll have to go.
I think it is rebuild, yeah.
But they're more like classic looking, but they don't make that stuff anymore. So I had to settle for these, but these are perfect.
So much Ava shit I need to get on display.
Yeah, because Rey's outfit also changes. It goes from like black and blue, I think. So I was like, I want something that reminds me of the old stuff, but they have a nice shelf presence, so they're right here on my display. You can't really see them from here, but yeah, so I picked those up, super happy. But that was my week, which I am super stoked for. How about you guys?
Yeah, I was able to track this guy down. It's been a long time, but luckily one was selling at what I wanted to pay for it. Really great guy, Slim Boss. Appreciate you, buddy. But yeah, Superman Hush by Prime One. It's everything that everyone says it is. Pictures don't do this thing justice. Unbelievable, this piece in person.
There you go.
Love it. Love everything about it.
That's beautiful. And this is the companion piece to the Batman Batcave that you have, right?
Correct. The Hush Batcave.
Fantastic.
There's a few of them. There's
Like
a line.
Poison Ivy too.
Poison Ivy, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
think
And
she's
you got a
next.
pretty good deal on this one?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. A little bit below what collectors are asking for, but I get nailed with once it crosses the border and stuff. But I use Pirate Ship. Pirate Ship's amazing.
And it worked pretty well for you, right?
Well, the thing is, it's not in Canada yet. So what I did is I set up the account using the person's information, and I made the label myself.
With their permission, of course.
Oh, 100%, of course.
Yeah.
It's a community member, friend stuff.
Yeah.
It was the same thing. I all it asked for their name and the address, and I would get that information regardless. It's not an actual physical account, but Pirate Ship is amazing. Wow.
So what exactly does Pirate Ship do? Because I heard Zach mention it.
You know what I like to
recently,
compare it to? Have you ever heard of Trivago?
For like vacation
For
rentals,
vacation. So essentially you'd go on Trivago, say where you want to go, and it would shop all the like shipping companies and give you the best rate. From my experience with Pirate Ship, it's usually UPS that I get.
Really? Okay.
Really?
So kind of.
So it's
I only
for
paid
shipping.
like $200 US to ship this, and it's 2 boxes the size of
massive.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And
seems pretty good.
Pirate Ship, I would highly recommend Pirate Ship.
Yeah, Marco, they do so much business on Pirate Ship that they're able to get you like negotiated discounted rates. Like John said, you type in the information and it'll give you like the best price or the fastest, and you can kind of sort them by price or delivery time, and pretty much like once you purchase like wherever you want to go, there's instructions for how you get it there. So for me, one of the labels that I got or that I was looking into to ship to China, it was a courier I've never heard of, but basically that courier contracts with FedEx. So I would just drop off that package at FedEx, and then FedEx would relabel it with the FedEx label, to drop it off to the courier for that company in China. But yeah, it's the rates are insane.
And it was yes, Sam, 1/3 scale. It's crazy because I got an email today and it's like, oh, you mismeasured the weight of one of the boxes. And I'm like, oh boy, here we go. And I just used what Prime One put on their site. It was like only an 85-cent upcharge. Apparently I was off by I don't know how much. But I guess they weighed it when it crossed the border. Oh, they had to charge me 85 cents extra. Big deal. Sending the email cost them more.
You were sweating like shit's
I
going
was
$100.
sweating. I was sweating. But it was awesome. And honestly, this piece is crazy. This hobby's, it's like crack.
So any more
crack would be cheaper, John.
Crack
at
would
this
be
point, crack would be much cheaper.
No doubt. Any more left in the line that you would like to add, or are you done here?
Oh no, I'm still on the hunt for I got another handful of third scales I want to get, and then I think I'm gonna pump the brakes for a little while.
You said that like a week ago, and then you just got this week.
No, I know, but I still have the handful. Once the handful's done, then
I see. Congratulations.
Thank you, buddy.
Awesome, buddy. Congrats.
Fucking
Beautiful
awesome.
That's awesome.
Fantastic. Marco, what'd you get this week?
Yeah, so this is a combination of last week and this week, but simp season totally for Bo-Katan. I know Ben is going to mention that he got her recently too, and that's a character that I didn't necessarily care for before episode 2 of Mando. Afterwards, I was like, this character has grown on me in many ways more than one, I would say. So really beautiful figure. Happy to add her. And then this Han Solo disguised trooper is one that I've wanted for a while. I've wanted the Han and Luke Skywalker set, but have only added the Han for now. And this is one that I feel, they could announce a reissue in the near future, but this one maybe won't be touched for a while. Even then, I paid a decent enough price. If they do a reissue, I'm not going to cry about it, but really happy to add it. And I really like the smirking sculpt. So yeah, really beautiful
really
figure.
Good. It's a strong sculpt.
Amazing figure. Man. One of my favorites.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so one that I was after for a while. So shout out to Equan for helping me broker one of those deals. I did tell him that I wouldn't mention it, but Gigi is not watching this one just yet, so I think he's safe there. And then the NECA ban has been lifted temporarily to add this accessory set. So the baby turtles, they got me. They got me. But I will say shout out to Rainer who found these, and shout out to his shop. Obviously, he's doing great business right now. So got to me incredibly quickly. If there's an issue, I believe he got this at Target though, so I would not have any issue sending it back. The box did come dented, but this is one that's meant to be opened. So I totally understand. Yeah. You open the box, you throw the box away. Who cares? It's as long as the figures are all right.
Collectible packaging.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, so in this instance,
is the NECA ban lifted?
Temporarily,
the clarification is not direct from NECA, so we purchased it from Target.
There you
it's
go.
like unban, reban. We're lifting the shield and then putting the shield back up.
That's right. And I will just say, if you
Alvin says, so we can buy NECA now. I've been holding out and saving money.
Dude,
yeah,
so
maybe not
bro.
NECA Direct. Maybe not NECA Direct.
Yeah, not directly from them.
Yeah,
and if you're going to buy directly from them, do not use PayPal, and just purchase with a credit card, and your credit card company will take care of you. That's the only. It's the last we're going to say.
Talk about that later.
That's right. But it was a good week overall.
Wow, what a week. I have the set from Rainer also. I don't know if I'm going to keep it just yet. It looks cool, but I'm on a damn spider kick right now, so I don't know what will be kept or what will be sold. But Ben, you had some a figure and a print, so we'll start with the figure first.
I did. So yeah, like Marco already said, and I said earlier, like I got this Bo-Katan last week, and it was kind of the same for me. I didn't absolutely love her in season 2, but I thought she had some cool scenes. She obviously is a badass lady, and I love Katie Sackhoff from the Battlestar Galactica days. So when I saw her in episode 2 of season 3, and she again just absolutely crushed it. She saved Mando, I think, twice in that episode. Like there's a ton of good there. The scene where she's like walking through and like doing exactly what you see in that left picture, like guns forward and just blasting away, like super cool. And so I picked up the figure. I got her for a very reasonable price at a local comic store. I felt like I pulled a John because I actually like negotiated the deal a little bit.
Dealing, bro.
I know, and I even texted John after like a proud father. Like I was like, hey, like just so you know, like I negotiated a deal, buddy. But
very proud.
I was very proud. Yes. But it was cool. I got it in hand. I've had so much fun with it, and it's honestly easily one of my favorite figures in the collection now. She's beautiful. The picture that I have on the right side there with her kind of wielding in both directions is how I have her posed up in my display right now. And just some of the subtlety in the body that you can kind of twist it and turn it in ways that look very natural in terms of a walking pose, like she's literally just walking through blasting away is very cool. But like I said to you all earlier, having that Katie Sackhoff head sculpt in the box now is driving me just a little nuts, because it's like, I mean, all of our head sculpts they're art pieces, right? And to put them away is a tough nut to swallow. But I also don't necessarily want to put all my heads on display like I've seen some people do, where it's just like a box of little heads. That's something a little scary about that for me. So I gotta figure out a workaround, I guess.
You could always switch to, sculpt on her taking the helmet off. I've seen that, or holding the helmet, right?
100%.
Zach's Wonderland head sculpt displays.
Oh, there you go. Exactly.
It's funny listening to like Marco and Ben talk about Bo-Katan, because Bo-Katan first appeared in the Clone Wars, and then in Rebels, and then back again in Clone Wars. Totally. So I've wanted a Bo-Katan for literally as long as I can remember. So when this figure popped up, I was like, oh, immediately adding this to the collection. Even if they fucking ruin the character in the show, The Mandalorian, I still have, Rebels and then to fall back on. And her outfit's a little different, not much. So like,
That's fair.
I'm glad that you have found love for the character because she's so fucking cool.
I'm still working my way through Clone Wars and Rebels. It's been a bit of a slow grind. I finally got through the first 2 full seasons of Clone Wars, and it is picking up now for sure.
Yeah.
I can see why it develops a bit of a like a fan base after some of the slower episodes. Some of the first 2 seasons I found a little bit. It felt like they were geared to more like a younger audience, but it's growing on me for sure. But yeah, I mean, even then, like you said, Dean, with her being in Clone Wars, it was Katie Sackhoff that voiced that character. So it's cool that she got to play both the live action version of herself and that animated series version. So.
Are either of you Battlestar fans at all?
I am, yeah, for sure. Starbuck, man, all the way. So
I've never seen it.
Oh my God, Dean, you got to watch Battlestar Galactica. I don't even care. It sounds a little nerdy of a show, but it's excellent. It's excellent. Yeah. And then Zach, if you want to pull up the next slide.
Oh yeah,
I can show
sorry
you.
about that.
Yeah, no worries. So, a couple months ago now, Renz Talentino, definitely a community member. He's in so many of the chats and groups that we see all the time. He does amazing artistry, and he had drawn this right around the time where Wednesday was super hyped, and I thought the likeness was just absolutely insane. So I had messaged him on Instagram to be like, dude, like, amazing job, like that is insane. And he was like, well, if you want one, he's like, I'm doing a limited print run, and so I can do one for you. So I ended up pulling the trigger on it finally, after I paid a bunch of other shit off and got this from Renz. He packaged it really well. The UPS or the mail carrier definitely wasn't very delicate with it. There is a bit of a damaged edge on the one corner, but now that I've got it in a frame, you can't see it at all. He sends this really professional looking certificate of authenticity, which was a really nice touch. It's not something that I realized that he kind of added in with the package. And his service the whole way was fantastic. He kept in touch with me on Instagram. He kept sending me tracking updates to let me know kind of where it was coming from his destination. Most stamps I've ever seen on a box, by the way. It's like they unload like an entire page of stamps to get it from. I think the Philippines is where he's at. So, but if you've ever been considering a Renz Talentino piece of art, check him out on Instagram. I'd recommend it. In hand, it's just as beautiful as it looks on the.
He's
on
incredible.
Website.
This piece is ridiculous, man.
And it's like I'm just loving it. So, I think the hardest part for me was buying a frame for it. That's been the most challenging part. I actually cut myself right before the stream started because I was trying to get this thing into the frame. It's 18.5 inches by 24.5 inches, which is quite a few more inches than most people would need, at least for Dean. But
way more.
For me, finding a frame in that size measurement was actually really, really tricky. So note of caution, if you do buy from him, ask what size you're getting ahead of time so you can kind of plan the frame action. But otherwise, totally worth it.
He wants to know if you can drop the link, I guess, in the chat.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Very good. So I mentioned, I want to say it was last week or the week before that, I was looking at getting the Mafex Symbiote Spider-Man, and I'd been working on a deal with this guy to buy his Spider-Man. Like, we had a price, and we were kind of just working on like a time to meet, and he ghosted me, and I was like, okay. And like, he would write back like here and there, but it was never like a confirmation of like, this is where we're meeting at this time. And so I just kind of was like, well, that sucks. And so right before I was going to meet him, another guy messaged me who had picked up some of my Mafex Batman stuff and was like, hey, bro. And I was like, yes. And he's like, are you still looking for Symbiote Spider-Man? And I was like, yeah, I may have a lead on one, but I mean, if you have one, let me know, because this guy's kind of ghosting me. And so I did a trade with him. It was actually for 2 of the Mafex figures, and he gave me this figure and a Figuarts Super Saiyan 3 Goku, which I don't know if I'm going to keep because I don't really collect Figuarts. But I was like, okay, cool. So I have the one that I needed. And the guys, I'm still trying to meet up with the other guy for the second one. But a few days prior, I had been messaging someone on Mercari, and he has a loose example of this character, and it just has a few of the hands and one of the heads. And so he was like asking so much that it almost made more sense for me just to get a new one. And I was like, look, man, like your price is like just ridiculous. Like, like at that point after tax and shipping, because the shipping was super expensive, I was like, I could just get one from Japan that's complete. And so he had lowered the price a few times, and I guess like I had shot him an offer and he declined it, and then I shot him another offer, he declined it, and then finally I guess he needed the money because he sent me an offer for my first offer.
You waited him out, all right?
Yeah, I waited him out. So he was like, okay, and so with this whole keyboard shipping like drama, PayPal put a credit in my account. So with the credit in my account, I was able to pick up like an 80% complete figure for like another $40. So in theory, if I'm kind of concerned because that guy hasn't shipped his thing yet, and even Mercari was like, hey, like we're letting this guy know he has to ship it pretty soon. If that goes through and then the other trade goes through, I should be able to display all 3 heads, and just like in a various amount of poses. I will say having the Mafex and the Marvel Legends, there's things I like about both. I think that the Mafex is a cool figure, but because the hands and feet and the head are meant to be interchanged, like handling the figure, they just pop off a lot.
Okay,
And
it's a little more fragile.
Yeah, it's a little bit more fragile. It's also sculpted in, or like casted in white plastic supposedly, so you can get chipping on the black and it'll show the white underneath. The paint isn't super clean on the spider legs, which is weird because it's like that's some of the only paint on the figure. So I mean, it does have its flaws, but overall I think it is a better figure. But for day-to-day like messing around, the Marvel Legends I think is, I think it's perfect. But this is certainly nice. I like the blue on the bottom of the soles, and yeah, it's a pretty cool figure. It has like this blue dry brush throughout the black, which looks really cool. And yeah, I guess next week I'll update if I have a second or even a third one. So
you're not messing with this at all, though.
Like for
carrying on
modifying
that
it,
dry. Yeah.
No. It's very subtle and it's really well done. And I think if I add any more, it'll be too much. Like It's hard to see in this picture, but if you take it like outside, it's like has a nice like blue, like it's almost like a wash. Maybe a dry brush is the wrong word, but it's very iridescent. It's very pretty.
God, it's beautiful.
To handle this figure is a friggin' nightmare. The hands fall off, the legs fall off, the feet fall off. The head's pretty much on there, but the torso, like putting it in this pose, the torso kept popping off, and I would have to like fix it and kind of adjust it. And yeah, it's been interesting, but it's a fantastic figure. The unmasked Peter Parker head is great, and I really like the web accessories that it comes with. So looking forward to maybe getting a second, maybe a third. Even if I just get the Mercari one, I'll be able to display all the options that I want. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that was my new this week, and I don't know that it was worth the upgrade, but I'm glad that I have both, and I can have this Marvel Legends one to mess around with and just play with at work, or have this one to have a nicer one on display.
You probably shouldn't play with it at work, but I mean, it's just me.
Well, I mean,
HR
bored at work, but yeah, it's a fun figure. I really like it.
Cool,
It has its flaws. I'm glad I didn't pay like crazy hot money for it, because I would have been disappointed. But trading for it, I had no problems. So mission accomplished there, boys. And I may have lined up a deal with Cuervo to get his I think it's Amazing Spider-Man 252. It's the first appearance of the black suit, so that will be something for next month. But anyways, enough about new this week. Half an hour in, let's get into the news. So briefly, we'll just touch both of these quickly. These were shown, and we discussed these months ago. The Amazing Spider-Man by Hot Toys, the Andrew Garfield, and then the Lizard base. We have prices now and release information for both of these. The Spider-Man comes in at $290 with a release point of July to December 2023, and the Lizard base is $165 with that same July to December 2023. It is interesting though. The Lizard used to have its own listing, but on Sideshow, like you can select it on the Spider-Man order page, but on my phone and on both of my computers, it doesn't load anything. And I know some people said this morning they took it down for some reason, so I'm not sure. I can't imagine that it's sold out, but as of the time of this recording Tuesday night, it's not technically live. And another interesting thing is Figuarts. They had solicited the Amazing Spider-Man Figuarts, but they had to adjust the figure to remove the portrait, and everyone was thinking it was a licensing issue with Andrew Garfield. And so it's kind of surprising that when this one formally hit solicitation, the portrait was still there. And a lot of people, myself included, thought that's why it was taking so long. So I don't know what the deal with this is. All the branding on it does say Amazing Spider-Man 2. So maybe they're using the original license with this figure, which is odd because the figure is different. I really don't know what's going on with this, but a little bit of odd stuff that's happened, and I guess we'll see if this actually does end up coming with the head sculpt when everything's said and done.
I mean, it doesn't really look like Andrew Garfield to me. It looks like discount Andrew Garfield. So,
wow.
It's a hot take, but I don't love the sculpt.
Really?
This is the best mask, though. So is anyone going to display it with the sculpt, right? But that's always a cop out. Likeness has to be there as well.
100%.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this is, and I feel like I just got a lemon figure because Dean couldn't believe my experience. But when I owned this figure, it was, well, the original version rather, it was the worst Hot Toys I've ever owned.
That's crazy.
I literally was like, I think I gave it away, or I may have thrown it away. Like, that's how bad it was. Like, I didn't charge the next owner for it because it was that bad.
Is that the one that had the half ham pieces?
Yeah, it was. The knees would pop out, the ankles would pop out, the arms would pop out, the magnets didn't sit flush. There was like a huge gap between the front and the back half of the hands.
Hot Toys tried a lot of stuff with this one that they haven't gone back to, right?
Yeah.
Is the
that's crazy.
Sorry, go ahead, Dean.
Oh, I was just gonna say that it's one of the nicest figures I ever owned, and I'm still kind of kick myself for getting rid of it. But yeah, it's weird that yours was so bad.
I don't know, man. Must have been in someone's pocket.
The arm socket there. So that arm is it's not a full suit. It's an actual.
No, this is
joint?
a full suit. No, it's just the way that the clothing is going into the suit.
That looks like crap, to be frank.
I'm telling you, bro, the worst figure I ever owned. I hated this figure, the original one.
So we'll see. They fixed the hands.
They did. We'll see if the original, or if the lizard rather, goes back into pre-order. But
we also still don't have any blogger photos for it though either, right? So I think it still kind of remains to be seen what the update really looks like.
These aren't released. These are solicited.
Yeah, it's just a solicited image, but we don't have any. We don't know what it's going to look like in the final. It's a hope and a prayer.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's premature to say how it came out.
Mm-hmm.
I think he means both.
The Andrew Garfield. Well, both technically.
We don't know anything.
Well, no,
about
we have the full gallery. There's the full gallery of photos of this figure. We don't have the final release because it's not out yet. Right. These are just solicited. These are just like the pre-order photos.
Right.
No, I know. I'm just saying we don't know how it's going to end up turning out ultimately. I agree with John.
For every figure,
this looks a little rough, but I'm hoping that there's an upgrade. I guess.
Yeah,
is what I'm trying to
Hot Toys, right?
Yeah. Hot Toys quality lately, I don't know.
Given all the weird stuff that's been going on with this one, I would not anticipate much of an upgrade.
Too much green.
I got lizard face. Jesus.
Rough. This one's rough, John. I don't like this.
This looks third party.
The third party came out better.
Like that. Yeah, it really did. Now this is cool. Hot Toys Kang. This one's $285, releasing April to September 2024. I do have concerns with the material choice in the suit. I think it's that plasticky, there's some Spider-Man figures that have this material and it just doesn't age well. But this portrait, both of these portraits are incredible. In the Patreon chat, I think it was a small number of people that thought it wasn't great, but honestly, I'm pretty impressed. I think that they really, really nailed the portrait here.
That's Diamond Dame right there.
That's Diamond Dame, baby. Yeah, I like this a lot. I think the one thing that continues to bother me with Hot Toys is they edit a lot of their photos, and I don't think that's a good way to represent really what you're soliciting. They do it a lot with lightsabers, and with this figure, it looks like they've added some light up effects to the eyes, which they do have. They do have LEDs, but I would almost bet that this is an edited effect there. And then the hands, they added like the glow effects to the parts here. So I really wish they would just do everything in camera with what the figure will actually look like, so that people don't have too high of an expectation. But yeah, this is really good. And Dean, you pointed out this little character here. I'll let you shout that one out. But I think it's not bad. 285, 2 portraits, some effects, a flight stand. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, they teased. I believe his name is MODOK. I actually have not seen the movie.
It is, yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure if I was getting his name right or wrong, but yeah. So they teased that in the backgrounds. They usually do that, so we'll see if. I didn't see a lot of people have a positive reaction to this character.
Really?
So
Okay.
That's interesting.
You're talking about from the film or from the figure?
The film, MODOK.
Okay, got it.
I don't know about Kang.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about Kang. I was like, whoa.
Oh, no. I think.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't seen a lot of positive feedback from the movie in general.
Yeah.
But I liked him from the Loki show. I thought I liked Kang there. I am a little confused though with the blue head sculpt. I thought that was like a mask that goes over him, or does his whole skin change blue?
It is a visor. I was kind of thrown off by that as well.
Okay, so I guess they just did like a cheesy kind of thing.
I guess to give us the LED light ups, but yeah, I'm curious why they didn't just do like a blue piece of plastic over the sculpts.
Yeah,
it doesn't make that much sense.
Yeah.
So they painted his face blue, and his face is not painted blue in the movie.
No.
Yeah, it's like a visor.
It's like an energy shield.
That's wild.
Energy shield.
I think the only thing I could think of is if they put a clear piece of blue plastic, it wouldn't look right, like the tone. That's the only thing I could think of. But
I'm sure they tried it.
That's
Also, this
fucking
kind of
wild.
looks a little comic accurate. Not to give them
it
a
does.
cop
Yeah, I
out,
was
but
actually reading
right?
Secret Wars today. Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought that was interesting, like a weird choice. But I mean, yeah, maybe it doesn't work the other way. So, yeah, I think other than that, I think the figure looks great. Not a ton in way of accessories, but I haven't seen the movie, so I don't really know all of what he does or what he doesn't do. So I don't think I could give a fair assessment on the figure other than I think it looks cool.
He's right. Marco's right about the comic thing. Yeah,
that visor right now. I would say.
No, they went comic. It's comic. Yeah.
Yeah, this doesn't look bad though. I mean, it's not like you see the plastic on the face, unless I'm missing it.
It's definitely CG, but yeah, it comes on and off like Star-Lord's, but obviously it's not metal.
Yeah, but if you look at the comic character, like if you Google image the comics, it's
pull it up.
He's got
it's
a straight
perfect.
blue
Yeah,
face.
it's straight. Yeah. I think the portrait looks good. It's good. It's more than okay. I don't think it's 100%. Looking at it, I haven't seen the film either, but looking at the actor, his resemblance is definitely there, but it's not perfect. But it would be enough to, if you want a representation of Kang in the collection, to pick up. That's for sure. It's nothing to scoff at. I'm okay with the outfit. I think the outfit looks good as well. Exciting to see a MODOK there. Maybe a power pose we're going to get out of that. Almost like, kind of reminds me of what we would get with the Blurg. And it would be interesting to see if we get faceplate swap outs with MODOK. But yeah, for what we're getting there, I think it's a solid release.
There you go. Yeah, that's
yeah.
Looks pretty spot on to his comic book counterpart. Mm-hmm. I'm an outlier here, but I actually enjoyed Quantumania. Like, I thought it was a really fun film, and I know most people did not enjoy it, but I really, really like Jonathan Majors' portrayal of Kang in this film. I think Ben was the one to say, or either Ben or Dean, about him being in Loki as well, and really enjoyed that portrayal. So he's such a force. He was great as Diamond Dame in Creed 3 as well. So really big fan of Jonathan Majors. I think the figure came out really nice. The whole time I was watching the film, I was like, this is going to make such a great toy, because I really liked the costuming, and I think they translated it, just about as well as I could have hoped for. I get that the blue sculpt is a little off, that kind of put me off at first as well. But I think it could end up looking really cool in the display as a pretty neat option. And yeah, I'm seeing the likeness there. Hopefully they can get it a bit more dialed in. They're kind of giving him like an inquisitive stare instead of something that's blank, right? He's kind of got the crinkled forehead, so maybe that's what's giving folks pause. But I like it. Like they tried something slightly different, and it fits the character to me. So overall, this is one that I definitely will add. I don't really know how to navigate Marvel figures right now because, they're in such a dip. This could go bargain bin, but now that everything's going on wait list, they got me guessing right now. So this is one like I feel like I don't want to wait. I don't want to miss out on. I would love to wait, but this is one that I may pre-order. But how about you, Ben? What are you thinking?
Oh, I'm gonna 100% pre-order this. I am shocked that people aren't loving the likeness as much as I feel like I am, at least. While I was watching Quantumania, I thought about back when I used to play hockey and I used to have to wear a mouth guard. And to me, Jonathan Majors makes this face 90% of the film when you see him. He always looks like he's almost got like a mouth guard in. He always looks like he's just kind of on the verge of being sweaty or crying. And I think that they like captured that with this head sculpt extremely well. I'm blown away by this. I was super excited. My only negative, the only thing I don't love about it is the shininess of his hair. I think that is a little bit off. I feel like they could have painted it a little bit better and made it look a little less like plastic looking. But that's a relatively minimal nitpick, let's be honest. I don't know if I'll even display it with the blue face. I like his actual head sculpt more, I think. And you guys are saying shit in the back private chat here. I don't know what you're saying.
It's kind of racial, bro.
What is it? It's not racial.
We're just
That's
giving you a
what he
hard
looks
time.
like the whole
That
time.
makes me uncomfortable.
Daddy, chill.
This is why, because I said he looks like he's gonna cry the whole movie.
Oh my
He
god.
looks like he has a mouth guard in. That's fucking.
He does. Like, anyways,
Holy cow.
it's not meant to be racial. You guys are killer.
Anyways,
you just
I
sidetracked.
think he
Either
might have
way,
he might have like an underbite or something, Ben. You're right. He's always kind of got like this. Yeah. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, he doesn't smile very much. He's got he's got his mouth is like, I don't know. I can't even describe it without now sounding racist. Thank you very much.
The training didn't work. The training didn't
new
work.
emoji should be that seems racial. By the way,
that's the face he made when he saw the Rotten Tomatoes on Quantumania.
Jesus Christ. Alvin J says JC Hong said they're updating the paint applications. Eddie says good thing I can't speak English. Yeah, that's good stuff there.
Zach, do you think this is suffering from kind of that gray look that we talk about? Because that might be the only thing that's bothering me.
To be honest, this photo here, the white balance is very blue, which I don't know if that's causing it not to look gray. I don't know that much about color theory. But if you look at the walls, you can tell it's just a weird tone. I think the skin looks great here. And I felt like, I think it was Shuri was the last one, and I thought that one looked pretty good too. I think the skin tone here looks great. I think the blue looks fantastic. It makes me really excited for the potential of like a Rebels Thrawn by Hot Toys or potentially Clone Wars, or what is it, if he shows up in the Mando supposedly. Both of these look fantastic.
Well, they did Yondu as well, right? With kind of
they did Yondu,
concept.
and that looked really good too.
Yeah.
And I would almost say in this photo, which is probably a more natural lit photo than the pre-production photos, I think that the hair, like the finish, matte, satin, or gloss, I think it looks okay here. I certainly think, Ben, you're right. I think in this photo here, it does look a bit satin, which doesn't look very natural. Mm-hmm. I think, I don't know. I really like it here, though.
Mm-hmm.
Renz,
I think Hot Toys is...
This is a better photo of it.
I was just going to say, Renz, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, that's the artisan that did Ben's portrait there.
Awesome job, yeah.
Yeah, $285 is not a bad price, though, for two portraits, some light-up features, and you get some different effect pieces, so that's not too bad.
And we were talking about, two of a certain figure. This is one that I would contemplate. I'm not going to do it, but this is another one because both sculpts look pretty cool.
This is one you could get away with. This is one you could get away with. I think there are going to be multiple Kangs obviously coming. Mm-hmm. It also means that you probably don't necessarily need to buy this version if you didn't love the Quantumania movie, right?
Yeah.
Because we're not to spoil anything, we are going to see this guy more. Let's be honest, and maybe several different versions of him. So just saying.
Definitely. Just to stay on Marvel, really quickly, So Toys teased the outfit for their Mr. Knight figure. Earlier, I want to say it was either beginning of the year or late last year, they teased like 8 figures, and this is one of the few that we've been waiting on. So everyone pretty much knew right off the bat it was Mr. Knight, Mr. Moon, or whatever you call him. But that's apparently in the pipeline. So
there's another company doing this too, right?
They did. I took that one out because I wasn't that familiar with the company, and we had to cut some stuff today. But yeah, there's another company that's doing one as well, which actually looked pretty good. But
and then Soso dropped this like the day after they announced theirs, right?
They're like, "Fuck that, dude! I'm not getting bamboozled like that."
Shouldn't this suit be whiter though? I don't know. Maybe it's just the photo, but I could have sworn it was like white.
I didn't finish the show, but I always felt like it was almost like a cream, like a grayish cream. So I think this looks fine, but I did not finish the show. So
I think it's just there's like a ton of texture on that suit.
The Moon Knight hot toy figure that's been solicited is also a little like on the beige side, and people had the same argument with that. Like in their mind's eye, the suit was wider, but when you go back and look at some of the screen stills, it is actually a little bit more of like a sandy white kind of. I think because he's in the desert a lot, to be honest. So. It's not racist either. Oh my god! He operates in Egypt. There's sand there.
Whoa, watch.
No, he's right. It's not a pitch white. It's not a pitch white.
Yeah, let's stick with Hot Toys for 2 seconds here. The Dark Knight quarter scale was released.
Oh, you hate to see it.
Yeah, another what is this? A remake, a 2.0, a 1.5, whatever you make of it.
A garbage bin,
released. A garbage bin. Speaking of garbage bins, Star Ace Apollo Creed. This one is super expensive, and God, Star Ace getting this license is like the second worst thing to happen to Apollo Creed. $279 to $309.
Oh my god!
Ivan Drago was the first. August to October 2023. Look, I know Waruna. I don't know him, but I'm friends with him on Facebook, and I know that man works hard. I know he is one of the best sculptors in the game, and it pains me to know how bad some of his portraits have ended up at the final product stage after seeing his prototype renders or like the prototype images. This is bad. The portrait I think is okay. The body looks nothing like Apollo Creed. Like the build just doesn't look like him. I think the outfit is fine. I think the accessories are fine. I think that they really put a lot of care into that. But at the end of the day, it's going to come out. The body's not going to be right. The portrait's probably going to look much worse than this. Even just the Rocky that they're teasing here. I mean, just look at the head, neck, like just the way that looks. I mean, it's just going to be bad.
They're not alone in this because Hot Toys does it too, but you're going to have two figures punching each other with the most blank expressions on their freaking face.
You're not wrong. And a lot of people in the chat, I'm going to die on this hill. I don't think that this hat looks bad. And in fact, that's why it's my profile picture, because everyone was ragging on me. I don't know that it's, because it's going over a plastic hair, right? So it does have to be a little bit larger than it might need to be. But in the movie, his outfit is like comical, right? It's like a comically large. Yeah, it's an over-the-top large hat. I would say perhaps the worst part about this outfit is the sequins on the blue for the sort of the drape that he has there. But I don't think that the hat looks really that bad. He does have in the deluxe edition a training outfit and a training portrait, which I actually think looks fantastic. I don't know that this protector is removable, but if it is, I think that would really be a great portrait to have alongside a Rocky figure, because
just cover the entire portrait. Then that's
you're covering this wonderful portrait. But this is cool. It has the Apollo Creed training shirt. It's got a different set of shoes and the groin protector there. But at this kind of a price point, $279 or $309.
He's got no chest hair.
$309.
He's got no chest hair.
That's $309. That's iconic.
His little $309 for the deluxe.
And you didn't cut this from the show? Fuck.
Look, everyone wanted us to talk about this. This was news, my friend. That's a lot of money, and this is not going to look that good when it comes out. And I I mean, just look at
Wait,
this
wait,
body.
wait,
It
wait.
The
doesn't
body
look-
looks good though. The body looks
No,
good.
no way.
Yeah.
John, come on.
The
No
body
way.
looks good.
Those are two different build. That's like a heavyweight and a fucking welterweight.
Yeah, but you're not going to be able to get his identical musculature
John,
on the figure.
Bro,
So
you better
I'm
fucking
sorry.
try. If you're just
Iconic
gonna-
Studios started from the ground up on a Ryu body and did it as a small company for their first release, and you're telling me Star Ace can't? You know, they're using a
Well, they did it for a cartoon
Bison
character,
body.
though, right? A video game character.
But they're doing
Yeah,
it
but-
with Muhammad Ali as well, right? Like
Yeah,
they're giving
so
him
they're-
a
Did they?
custom body. Mhm.
I, don't know,
Yeah.
I think this is. I think the body's fine in my opinion. The portrait, not
I
even.
don't think so.
I'd buy this figure and throw the portrait in the garbage. That's just if it's harsh, it's harsh, but it's true. If you're asking, the fact that you're asking, I'll slap you. Like, you got to hear the truth. If you're asking 309, you're asking 309 for this figure. It's like a slap. To be honest, it's a slap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, is it 309 and you just get interchangeable outfits, or you get two bodies?
I will double check, but it's my understanding that it says body not included. And so the deluxe is, so the standard, just to clarify here, is the fighting outfit plus the hat and the like the 4th of July gear. The deluxe, you get the second head and then the training outfit.
That body's good, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's just generic Fison body, bro.
Is it? I don't know. I don't.
This is I mean, no, I'm sorry. This is not.
Yeah,
I don't
he's
like
a lot
it.
more. I mean,
I don't like
obviously he's ripped and shredded, but he's slender.
I do, Quinn.
This body is like fucking Bane, bulky, huge,
And like Ben said, he has like the chest hair. Like you're missing like some of the most iconic shit of this character.
Makes him very masculine. Yeah,
it does.
His haircut's a little sideways too. Somebody said it in the chat. Big Dog Pound.
If anyone
I think.
needs some black curly hair, just let me know. $200.
Well, I think the picture on the right is a movie promo picture. That's not what he looks like in the movie.
It's
he
not.
does-
No, it's not.
He does have bigger.
It's a bit more
afro in the
afro.
movie, and the chest hair, because obviously there's no chest hair.
And muscles.
Yeah. So this photo is to clarify, this photo is the best like neutral pose that I could find. The rest of them, he's got his hands up. and
I
it's
can't
hard to
believe we're dissecting this also toys to an oblivion and Hot Toys. We let
Apollo
go.
Creed is one of the greatest.
What are you talking
film
about? We've been talking about Hot Toys
characters.
for 3 weeks already.
Is this isn't even licensed, right?
It's Star
It is
Ace.
licensed.
It's
It's
100%
Star Ace.
They're
licensed.
Oh, it's
doing the
licensed?
boys figures.
Sorry,
as
I
well.
don't pay
It's
attention to Star Ace
terrible
with
boys
portraits like
figures.
this.
Yeah,
Bro, Can I just say this? This is a hot take.
bro.
I feel like I've said in the past, like, hey, like we're in the golden age of third party. I feel like this is some of the worst licensed stuff in this past few months. We have Hot Toys, with this quality. We'll talk about that later, but Hot Toys is fucking up. People are getting the in-art Joker having a ton of issues. People are getting duplicative parts or parts missing. The
Hands
figures are
falling
falling,
off.
hands falling off, magnets falling off. We got Star Ace bamboozling people with the boys figures. I mean, just some of the worst things you've ever seen. And they're charging $309.
Yeah, I was gonna say charging the highest prices of any company.
I think that's why it's fair game to criticize them really significantly, because they're charging high end.
And then if you look at Star
That's the
Ace's,
problem.
if you look at Star Ace's Facebook, I had to actually like click in to make sure this wasn't like a joke account, right? Like our favorite YouTube commenter, John from Queen Studios. They Photoshop Queen Maeve like in a bunch of random photos, and it's like, oh, the boys have their own Wonder Woman too, and it's like, why? Who posted this crappy Photoshop? In fact,
Horrible
I'm gonna pull it up.
Photoshop.
It's like, what is this company doing?
Like, I get this is someone's
I just
bread-
feel like this is a terrible time to be a licensed collector. When you have third-party companies doing some of the greatest things you've ever seen, and then you have the first-party companies just fucking it up. It's crazy
I would
to me.
Playing devil's advocate, though, you just have a lot of options, right? In terms of, okay, this figure doesn't look great. It doesn't look terrible, but for the price they're charging, it doesn't meet that standard. But a third-party company could come along, and before you know it, there's Creed 3 figures that are out that you're like, wow, this is actually way better than Star Ace. I almost bet that it will happen at a certain point.
This is a real post from a real licensed company photoshopping or just gathering
Not
images
well
that others
either.
have photoshopped. The boys have their own Wonderful Woman. Pre-order Queen Maeve here. I mean, this is just like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah, don't even show the figure. Nowhere.
There's a reason for that.
Are you
And then
showing
it's
the
like,
figure?
some of their, they have it where you can't even comment on the post. All you can do is laugh, react. I mean, come on,
Zach. The hat,
I get
though,
this.
come
Is,
on.
I guess this is someone's like.
I will die on that hill, though. I don't think the hat is bad.
The hat is terrible.
That's the best part about
Go
this
ahead,
whole
John.
figure.
What were
I
you
was just
saying?
gonna say, I get it's someone's livelihood and someone's, it's their art, it's their concept and their work, but at the same time, like you're charging $300. It's
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but that doesn't excuse you from scrutiny and what do you call it? Like,
the portrait's horrible, man.
just because somebody worked on it doesn't mean you can't say it's bad. Like,
Well, yeah, but
people
there's
say
a
our
way of
show's
saying
bad all the time.
There's a way of saying it's bad and the way of presenting.
yeah,
it.
we're not over here fucking dogging on the guy
No,
who did it. It's just
well,
like this.
No, I think he's.
I did just say you could throw it in the garbage, but
But it's crazy because I mean, when you put this into perspective, for $6 more, you get Hot Toys Kang for the basic, right? It's
I wouldn't take Hot Toys anything.
at this
Also,
point.
like, is it just me or does the skin tones not match from the face to the body either?
That's
And this is like,
It's the lighting.
they're trying to sell you a figure and it doesn't even match.
The
It's like
pictures
he's-
are
That's
just
hard to
poorly
do,
shot.
though.
It's
I
like
will
he's
say that
yellow.
it's hard to do. You're not wrong. It's hard to do to match the tone because the silicone will have like some opacity in it,
Yeah.
and it's a nightmare to match.
Would
I'll
you
tell
agree
you
this
what,
body? Sorry, go.
Go ahead. No, John, go ahead.
I was gonna say, would you agree this body's better than any muscle body we've gone from Hot Toys? I like this body. I don't know what it is. I don't know why.
This
I
is
like
a generic TB League body. This isn't a custom body. I'm like 99% sure this is a generic
The
body.
body looks good for me. That would be the selling feature.
Yeah, but
here.
TV leaks always look good.
Well, I don't know.
Speaking of seamless bodies, just on a aside, I got to give mad props to Iconic. Like Margot said, they went from the ground up on Ali. They went from the ground up on Ryu. I could be wrong, but I have my ear to the ground on a lot of the 1/6 scale stuff. I genuinely don't think, and this was my biggest concern about that figure, I don't think I've seen a single collector, knock on wood, that has had a rip in the Ryu body.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think I have. And when Andrew told us, like, we put this body in months, like in these crazy poses, and nothing happened, I believed him because he's a good friend of mine and I love the guy. But in the back of my mind, there's always that like apprehension, like, well, did it really? But man, I gotta say, honestly, might be the figure of the year. And
Congrats,
it does
Jazzy.
qualify for this year.
Considering, I will say, Zach, considering, who was it that made Bill and Ted?
Blitzway?
Blitzway. Within
Or
like
Blitzway, yes.
within like 3 weeks of the figure coming out, people were ripping and tearing,
I don't
and
know
we
about
haven't seen
figure of the year,
anything
but
from that.
It's good.
That's
We
gotta be,
haven't
bro.
seen anything
No,
from
come
the
on.
Ryu.
You'd have to
Bro,
be,
first
of all, we're in
everyone
March.
that owns it is extreme. Well, to this point, right? We have 4 months of data.
Yeah, but everyone
just
who
saying it's an
owns the Mars
impressive
toy, Cesar Romero Joker.
I think that's up there too. I think. I guess what I'm saying is at least for consideration. for voting at the end of the year.
Yeah,
nominated. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so SpongeBob SquareBalls, that's the M33 body, and the color is custom. They only make the tall basketball body in a brown complexion. Let's hit these real quick. $10 off your next purchase on 1/6 kit using code CW10. You can get all kinds of great figures. And again, that's for your first purchase there at 1/6 kit. One of the best in the biz for any kind of figure that you want. Be sure to check them out. And off the racks, collectibles, and more. You can get $15 off your $100 purchase. You can use this code as many times as you want using code CW. Great guys, fast shipping, and if you're doing a pre-order, the discount will apply to the final payment, not the initial deposit. I mentioned this at the beginning of the show. I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here.
Oh boy.
But I want you guys' feedback, and I want you guys to suspend a bit of disbelief because I got bamboozled. I got taken on a ride, boys.
Are we not supposed to believe that you got bamboozled? Or
It's unbelievable, to be honest. A man like me, just kidding. No, I got ripped off, and by a scammer. And I didn't listen to my own advice. And I want to use this, one, to blast the shit out of this guy because I think he's a piece of shit. But two, as a little bit of like, hey, even we make mistakes, right? I've been collecting for years. I like to think I've seen it all, but even I got taken, and some of our friends got taken by the same guy. So March 29th, 2022. Twig #1. The Twig series was coming out. Fantastic artwork, fantastic covers, and I remember talking with in John's comics chat with some of the guys, and trying to nail down which cover I wanted, and I settled on the Scotty Young variant, graded 9.8. Now, for those that are unfamiliar, the way that CGC pre-orders work is you order the book, and they'll usually say like about a 16 to 18 week turnaround. And, which is reasonable. John, I know you don't grade a ton of comics, but or friends that grade comics, right? You might be out a few months for your book, and then you get it back. And so nothing unreasonable that would cause any suspicion to be raised at this point. Paid $55. And, again, CGC, sometimes they get backed up. I was patient. I was waiting. I was so excited to get my book. Around December, which probably was too late, I started checking in, or November rather, started sending some messages to Hotshot Comics, Douglas, and didn't hear anything back. And I thought that was odd, but again, it's CGC. They can get backed up. If he doesn't have any information to give me, I'm just gonna keep sending him a message. Maybe he'll have some information at some point. On the 9th of December, I got a message. Good morning. You'll receive notification as soon as your order is ready to go and is being processed to ship. Until then, we won't have any further information available. Now, at this point, I made my first mistake, which is I waited more than 6 months to really find out what was going on. Because at that point, my purchase protection from PayPal, which is how I paid, was over. Now, I got concerned and I started doing some research, and which is what I should have done initially, buying from a new company, or a company that's new to me. And I saw their Better Business rating was an F. Now, I've used Better Business Bureau for years, finding contractors for all kinds of things, and I don't think I've ever seen like lower than a C. So an
Those
F,
are
I was
NECA
like, holy
numbers
shit.
right there.
These are NECA numbers. 1.33 stars out of 5, with 13 complaints in the past 3 years, 12 complaints in the past 12 months. Now, I'm not feeling good about this. So I did more research. And I'm going to read some quotes from customers of HotshotComics.com and Douglas Siegeless, the scamming piece of shit. Purchased graded comics from an online website, HotshotComics.com, on 4/28/22, around the time that I paid via PayPal. Turnaround time was promised at 18 weeks. Contacted the company email on 9/28/22, received a reply stating the comics had yet to arrive. Contacted via email 12/5/22, received no reply. Called their physical location, aka Asheville Comics, 12/22/22. They stated they had order on file but nothing. Called again on 12/29/22. Employees stated that the owner, Doug Siegeless, and manager named Maggie were unavailable and the only people who had authority to issue refunds. I've also contacted the grading company CGC, and they said the books in question should have already been turned around. The current turnaround time for comics at that time was 20 business days. There are numerous complaints on Reddits and CGC message boards about comics purchased but no deliveries. I am one of many, and this person lost $230. This person ordered 2 CGC 9.8 Batman 108s back in April of 2021. Still haven't received them, and I know that I never will. The owner, Doug, is a real piece of shit and lies to you if he even bothers to reply. After 2 emails, they just stop replying and they get hateful and vindictive. Check out some of the CGC board's postings describing what he does on a routine basis. 9 months and I'm still waiting for just one 9.8 comic. I'm pretty sure I'm beat for my money. This was a guy that I talked to quite a bit, and he's helping me with the next step of what we're trying to do. But he says the story is pretty simple. I started collecting comics and sports cards when I was a kid with my brother and my buddy Fred. I started to get back into comic collecting a couple of years ago, but stopped once I realized how the modern comic community works, all slabbed, CGC graded. And when I was ripped off by Hotshot Comics and Doug Siegeless, me and my buddy Fred ordered several of the new Hulk #1 variants that came out almost 2 years ago. We spent almost $300 and never received our comics. I'm sure Doug has already spent my stolen money on hookers and blow. Who knows? I followed the Discover. And he would go on to say in another message that since Hotshot Comics disputed this dispute, he lost his money and Discover wasn't able to help him. Some posts from some of the CGC boards. There was another guy on Facebook posting about ordering 10 books from them and only receiving 4 and unable to get them to do anything. I had another issue with them last year with the Negan Lives book. It was a debacle and a half. We'll definitely never do business with them or their cleverly hidden brick and mortar storefront that goes by another name. This guy here, I ordered ASM 55 and 9.8 and from Hotshot Comics on eBay. They sent me 2 9.6s and won't reply to my messages. I posted elsewhere and several other buyers got scammed from this seller. This guy here, after seeing them on Instagram and online ads, I pre-ordered over 200 plus and graded books back in January and February of 2022. Again, same thing. 16 to 18 weeks. I do understand the CGC is backed up, so it could take longer. To date, none of my orders have been fulfilled. I'm now at almost 36 weeks with no updates. I contacted customer service and was told that there were no updates from CGC. I contacted them again a few weeks ago and received no response. This guy here, at this point, neither PayPal or my credit card company can reverse the transaction, as it has been over 180 days. Based on what I've been experiencing so far, I did some Googling of other reviews about the shop. I highly recommend you to do this before any transactions with Hotshot Comics. And he goes on to say this is a real common occurrence, people getting back 9.4s or 9.6s, people that have books that have raised in value not getting the books back because they've raised in value. One of our good friends, the Sweet Cece from Rogue 1-6, was taken for a total of $200. Another Patreon member was taken for money, though they were able to work with their credit company to get that money back. This company is predatory. There's more evidence here. 9 months and still waiting for just one comic. And one of the things that I've done is filed with the North Carolina Department of Justice. At this point, it's really all we can do. It's been long enough that banks can't really help. PayPal can't really help. And there's just more stuff. Employees that are commenting anonymously saying that when anyone asked about Hotshot Comics, we as employees were told to lie and say, we have no idea what you're talking about. This guy, Doug Siegeless, is 100% a con artist. The man who owns the business has told me on several occasions that he knows enough about superheroes to con people into spending money at his store. But all in all, he doesn't care about that shit. On top of all that, he had us release comics early so that we could one-up the competition. Since leaving Asheville Comics, I have started working at another comic book store in Asheville. All the other comic stores support each other and want each other to succeed. They want to build up each other instead of tearing each other down. Asheville is a place known for its community, and the place could have done well if he was not a decent human. Unfortunately, he is not. And just more employees saying that it's just a bad working experience, just sketchy shit happening. And, you know, I've tagged this guy on Instagram. He's blocked me on Instagram. I've tagged his personal account on a bunch of different things. I actually had a 30-minute phone call last week with WLOS 13 in North Carolina. They're very interested in the story as we were presenting it. I don't know that means they'll run a news story on him, but they kind of have like an investigative journalism team down there. But it was nice to at least to be heard by somebody contacting, you know, the local authorities down there. $50-$60, not really worth their time. And so I just want to use this as a learning experience because someone who's been collecting for a long time who, you know, I would think I would be beyond getting scammed like this. I got taken for $60 and friends that I know got taken for hundreds of bucks. I think it's important that, you know, do your research. If you're buying from a new company, you got to do your research because if I had done just a few minutes of Googling, it's very likely some of these stories would have popped up and I could have avoided them. But I got blinded by the price and, you know, it was really unfortunate. And then also understanding when you use things like PayPal, there is a time limit. So I would recommend if you're doing a pre-order with anybody, if it's 180 days, cancel your order, tell them you'll replace it. But do not ever give up your PayPal purchase protection. Because it's, you know, you're basically up a creek without a paddle. When I talked to PayPal recently and my bank, they both said like, hey, you know, if you had called us 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, maybe even a little bit past 180 days, we probably would have been able to get your money back, no questions asked. But, you know, at this point, it's very difficult for them to do anything. And yeah, it's bad. So I'm curious because I know there's even another situation with another retailer, which I won't name yet because we don't know for sure if it's a scam, but it just sucks, right? That people are taking advantage of collectors, right? A supposed collector taking advantage of other collectors.
That was
it's just shocking
that
that
was
he
a
could get
photo
away
of
with
him.
stuff.
That was a photo of him?
Oh yeah, it's a piece of shit.
You sure it's not Mark Pearson? Looks like
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
I would be stressed too, Doug. I would be stressed too if I was losing my dignity to another man over $60. This guy's a piece of shit.
Well, 60 times.
Hot Shot Comics. Still, you're gonna lose your word to another man, John?
Oh,
for
it's
60
2023. There's cowards. These people don't.
Dude, this
give
guy's a piece of shit.
People don't give a shit. They're scamming everybody.
So Zach, apologies if you mentioned this in the story, but how did you hear of them first? Like, what made you think they were reputable, and had you place your order with them?
So I was looking for that variant, and not a lot of places had it, and I think they were the only one that had it, which wasn't odd, right? Like my comic store had it, but none of them had it at a 9.8. And it's, you know, that's really the only reason why. I mean, I've ordered CGC pre-sales for years, and I've never been ripped off like this. So, yeah, it was annoying, but this guy.
You're lucky it was $60 only.
Oh no, I'm lucky. I mean, Sweet Cece is out $200 plus tax. I mean, she got really taken on a ride, and it's yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. I mean, like, fortunately, some people have been able to get their money back, but at this point, really, our only resolution is like the court of public opinion, right? Warning other collectors, informing other collectors, and hoping that through some amount of shame that we can push on this guy, we get our money back, which I don't think is happening. I asked him twice for my money back. He ignored me, and so I'm blasting his ass on YouTube.
So you've actually had contact with this guy?
Yeah, those emails that I shared. The last time I talked to him, I don't.
How
know the
about like
exact-
on the phone?
No, I've tried, but I can't get a hold of him.
Wow, I didn't know you actually had contact with him.
But
The
like I
only
said,
shameful
I've
here-
talked to the
Sorry.
news
Yeah.
people. Yeah, so I don't know. Like, it would be fantastic. It would be fantastic if the news ran a story on him. It would be fantastic. I would love that. Alvin J with the $10 super chat replacement funds. You're a great guy, Alvin. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's this guy's a piece of work, to be honest. And you know, there's allegedly some other sketchy shit this guy's done. I don't know that I personally was able to verify it, but you know, some of the things that I saw were pretty sketchy. So. Yeah.
It seems like he's involved in a lot of other industries, not just comics. He had a bunch of.
Yeah, looking at his LinkedIn, he's like, "Oh, I can advise you on starting a business. I have started several successful businesses," and I'm like, "Okay, you fucking guy."
Bro, the only thing sketchy here is that hairline.
You're not wrong. You're not. I would be stressed too.
You
John,
guys all
if I
have
had
sticks
CW on my
today.
hands.
No laughs, no nothing. I'm just done.
You got to tell good jokes. You got to tell.
Well, I don't want to attack the person's looks because their actions are shitty enough that's all we need to go after. Honestly,
That's well said, Marco.
The hairline needs to be addressed. Then I'd take that to the news.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. The real investigative.
He's such a scammer. His hair is running away from his fucking face.
There you go. Victoria's in the chat. You'll love to see it. Look at that. She's on a work trip right now. But yeah, do you guys have anything you want to add to this?
Yeah, I guess I just want to add, like, sorry that you're going through this. Again, luckily it's like a smaller amount of funds. I mean, still enough to get really upset by. And the fact that others in the community have gotten scammed by this individual is just really discouraging. Because this should be, these hobbies should be fun. It should not be a source of stress and for someone to prey on others' excitement over a book. So not only are you out the money, but you also are out the book. So it's just all around extra shitty. And I just hope that there's some light that can be brought to this at a larger scale. Obviously CW doing the work to spread throughout the community, but if it got picked up by the news, that'd be great to see this person have some pressure on them.
I want to see them run up to his business like, "Sir." That'd be fantastic.
I don't know where you're
I'd
getting
pay another
this
$50 for
information.
that, to be honest.
For me, I think my biggest takeaway there, Zach, is just like that timeline, like you were saying, when it comes to PayPal. Like I think we take for granted that, you know, the folks in the chat every week are often pretty seasoned collectors, but a lot of the people who listen to this show on replay and watch after the fact, a lot of them are still new collectors who are just getting into this type of hobby and may not realize that you do have a timeline to make a claim with things like PayPal or eBay if you have to. So I think protecting yourself and your money is really important, and kind of knowing who you're buying from. And like you said earlier, just taking that extra 10 minutes to do a little extra research can go a long way and save a ton of headache, which is kind of ridiculous.
Absolutely.
When you think about it.
And you're never, really well said, Ben, and you're never 100% protected, right? But I think if you're using your credit card and you really trust your credit card company, that's normally the best way to recoup funds if something like this goes awry. Go ahead, Zach. What were you going to read?
Oh, he will definitely appear on OxPD, my absolute Irwin. I gotta add that right now. That's hilarious. Yeah, it's I got cocky. Well, maybe not cocky, but I got careless, right? I made a purchase. I should have researched. I should have done a lot of things differently. And yeah, I mean, shit happens, right? Any one of us could get taken on a ride, and
do your homework.
I think it's good that we have some sort of a platform, that we can attempt to expose people like this. So
yeah, we helped James. Who was that? James, right?
James, yeah.
He got bamboozled, and we put the company on blast, and they quickly put that shit to. They were like, no, we'll make it all better. Don't worry about it.
See, so NECA does still suck.
Wow, yeah, NECA is just
the lowest of the low.
Although to be fair, I just bought a NECA figure.
Which one did you buy?
I'll send you a picture.
Just put it on your credit card. If there's issues, and tell your company you're not satisfied with the service. But if you're buying directly from them, they're not going to do
Oh, so that's why Hot Toys waits 2 years to release a figure.
There you go. Right.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, boy.
Fortunately, Sideshow's a fairly legitimate company. They'll give you your money back. But yeah, Sam says, how many of us do our homework every time we buy? Just curious.
Oh, I'm an over homework guy.
Same here.
Even spending like $20, I'll be like, oh, okay, what other places can I get? I'm
ridiculous too.
Paralysis by analysis.
Yeah.
And I will just say, I just saw a John Oliver about timeshares, and like there's just no shortage of scammers out there. Like that's one of the biggest ongoing scams there is. And it's like, okay, they're going to prey on. You were looking for this book, you were excited about it, you got a little bit reckless, and that's when they know you're at your most vulnerable, when there's something you really want. And so I'd say before you just hit that purchase button, before you sign a contract, do your homework. That's all we have to say.
Absolutely. So we will hopefully see where this goes. I would be thrilled if the news got involved. At this point, we just have to wait and see, right? But Doug, you know my email, baby. Hit me up, bro. Send my money back. Send Cece her money back, right?
Most importantly,
be a man. Be a stand-up guy. You're a piece of shit, but broken clocks right twice a
man.
day.
Do the right thing.
In fact, keep Zach's money. Just give CC back hers.
That's right.
Yeah, give everyone's money that got scammed.
Yeah, I had to sit here for 15 minutes and listen to a good friend. And through his experience, give me some money too, you bastard.
Yeah, John could use another statue. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Hot Toys quality. Let's keep it going.
Hot Toys quality. Oh man, we don't have enough time in the day for this one.
Another scam. It's like the gift that keeps on giving. The DeLorean has so.
Bro,
I just don't know what even. And I get it, right? Like, it's probably the vocal minority. I 100% understand that is a thing and could be the thing. But it seems like there is a lot of people that are having so many issues. This guy here saw the reviews, saw the QC issues, and I still held out hope mine wasn't damaged. I was absolutely wrong. It happened to me too. Some issues with glue, and it looks like his dash there. This guy on the right, I want to say this was his replacement, if the thread serves me correctly, if my memory serves correctly. But he was saying that the lights won't work. They worked initially, and then they don't work anymore. And this was within a matter of hours that they had started having issues. Just the underlights work. We also started noticing some issues with Ahsoka. I think, John, you said you had seen 4 or 5 issues. This exact same joint system that they have here for the single jointed elbows. They're almost using like a wrist peg, right, in the elbows. And friends in the community are snapping theirs. Nicholas, Nick's Collection, great guy, invited some of us to be a part of his wrestling stream. Broke his. He said he was just doing some quick posing. Now, I believe both of these may be Hong Kong batch. At least Nick's is for sure. But it doesn't bode a lot of confidence, right, that this is happening just 2 weeks after receiving the order.
So now you're not safe with seamless or jointed.
You're not. I'm curious, what type of quality do you expect now going forward with not just Hot Toys, but just companies in general, themselves having problems with magnets and, like I said, things missing and different things. I just don't know what to expect these days.
Yeah,
John,
I
is
mean,
it your birthday, John? Sorry to
No.
interrupt.
No.
Okay, it's not John's birthday. Sorry, I was just confused.
Way
Sorry,
to
Dean, go
interrupt
ahead.
I thought that was a setup.
Yeah, I was like, what's the joke here?
No, there's no joke.
Birthdays. All right.
Yeah, I mean, Hot Toys.
Wow,
isn't-
that's good. That's a good one, Marco.
It's not like they haven't had issues in the past, right? Like Commander Cody, almost all of those broke.
Yeah, a lot of those.
But they were really limited to like one figure. Maybe every like couple releases it might have an issue or something. If that, right? Maybe every 10 releases one figure would have. But now we're seeing it's getting a little more common than a lot of people are comfortable with. Yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely reconsidering purchasing. I went from not giving a shit about this Ahsoka figure to like really actively seeking it out. But after, I mean, there's just a couple of photos in a very short amount of time from people getting it that I'm a little like, maybe I should hold off on buying it. Like, is this a widespread thing? Like, I'm not about to drop $300 on something that's just gonna fucking break out of the box.
Just quickly here, John, is tomorrow your birthday?
Yes, sir.
Happy early
be
birthday!
like,
I think that's why he may be
birthday.
in a
Ahead of
different
time.
time zone.
Yeah.
He may have taken his Hot Toys DeLorean, a few hours into the future.
I appreciate
Happy
you,
birthday.
Ron. Appreciate you, man.
Look at that.
It's
What a
probably gonna
guy.
break down and leave you there, so you might want to watch out.
Wow, Jesus.
He's gonna be stuck 6 hours ahead. Cuervo says, "What
fine
was wrong
dog.
with Cody?" A lot of people with the what is that? The transmitter
shoulder.
arm. Yeah, the shoulder would break.
Yeah, it would
on that right
shatter on the butterfly joint.
Yeah.
And some people would get a replacement, and the replacements they went. I think it was what's his name?
How dare you, Alvin? I still love you.
I just forgot his name, but he went through like 4 replacements before he got one that didn't break.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's got me definitely reconsidering any purchase going forward. Like, let me just see what the hell's going on before I make a move, because this is kind of getting ridiculous.
Sean says my
And not just from Hot
expectation
Toys.
Sean says my expectation is simple. The stuff I buy shouldn't break from handling the figure. Look at that, Blackbird Tech and Victoria. Happy birthday, John. Look at that. Look at that. Fantastic. John, how old are you going to be tomorrow?
Yes, it was KG. KG got 4 Codys before he got one.
I didn't remember that.
43? Look at that.
I'm tired of hearing it. You know why I'm tired of hearing it? Because everybody bitches and whines and complains and then still throws their money at the companies. You got people still buying the DeLorean after how many people have gone, oh, I'm going to roll the dice. No, that's you're not going to roll the dice. Then don't complain when yours comes in pieces. Don't take pictures and put it on Facebook. You're going to roll the dice. These companies need to wake up, but they won't wake up if we're giving them our money. And that's just how it's going to be. It's a vicious circle. Hot Toys.
Alvin J. Happy birthday, John.
Oh, appreciate you, Alvin. Thanks a lot. Everybody who wished Dante, Sam, everybody, Victoria, PT, love you guys.
What a guy.
Appreciate it.
Legend was born tomorrow, boys.
Imagine that.
That's right. Only 42. You'd
it's
love
true.
to see it. You look great.
It's getting up there, man. Hold on. So anyways, I think... take it easy.
Let the man get his thoughts out.
Look at these. This is my time to continue to rip them.
It's one birthday wish.
We just put too much money into it. We're just investing money into these companies. They're not going to change. Like we're saying the other show, Hot Toys has competition now coming from these third-party in art on either side, and they're still It's been how long already? We still haven't heard anything from Sideshow or Hot Toys in regards to the DeLorean. It's just, what's it going to take for change? What's it going to take?
It seems like, Hot Toys was really on the ball when InArt was very active, but now that InArt's kind of, I don't want to say that they've been inactive, but they certainly aren't pushing the envelope like they had been.
Because they don't have to.
I feel like
now.
it almost gives Hot Toys the excuse, right, not to,
What? They don't have to.
That they don't have to communicate anymore because InArt went right back into the hole. It's a nightmare to get any information from InArt, right?
InArt's
InArt hasn't
communication
released
is
any statements about the number of collectors that have received missing parts, the number of collectors having magnet issues.
No,
I
they
would
don't
like a
have
statement
to.
from them.
Oh,
It seems
the
like
statements.
every day they were releasing a statement for nothing, right?
Well,
People were having
Say that
genuine
John,
issues.
No,
John
but
was
I-
just on Will's stream though, right? So at least they
Okay,
had
one
some more
stream,
communication. No, for sure.
No,
I'm
come
saying
on.
at
You haven't
least a
answered
little
any of
more
our
than Hot
questions.
Toys, though.
But Zach, a
little
magnet
bit more
magnet loose to shitty glue, unacceptable still at the price point we're paying. But
100%.
it's not comparable, in my opinion. It's not comparable to joints breaking. InArt went back to the whole communication wise. Yeah, they played collectors. They came on because everybody
100%.
wanted the attention on the streams. 100%. So invite, and he went on free marketing for everything. And now they've put out the Joker. It is what they said it was going to be. So now they've rectified their name, and now they're going to the hole. Of course, it's not wrong. They played the community, but at least the product they're delivering is there. At least the product they're delivering is there, in my opinion.
Sean says, I saw John from InArt on a podcast saying they're in a listening phase this year versus the talking phase last year. They're not listening to me. I've asked them many questions, from... I'm still waiting on answers like clarification from Vegas, right? I mean, that was a long time ago. Bob Dylan, happy birthday, Bambino. I hope your next statue has a single-digit edition number, maybe your first J&D.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's... I don't know. Like you said, John, I'm disappointed, right? Just all around... with a lot of things with a lot of companies, but I think Hot Toys is really disappointing me too.
It makes me wonder what Barbies are made out of. When I was a kid, I used to put my sister's Barbies through like the meat grinder, dude, and like they would still like stand the test of time.
You have a sister?
Yeah, I've got 3 sisters.
Really?
Can we get the rats?
Wow.
I don't tell you guys these things. I don't even tell you my last name for like.
We thought
6
we were
months,
brothers.
okay?
You see what happened?
That's true.
Now that's a tough nut.
But it blows me away that something that can be as expensive as a hot toy can be so brittle in comparison. And like it doesn't make sense at this point. I do think that the worst part is the lack of communication or apology or any level of statement whatsoever. I feel like especially with regards to the DeLorean, that's something that needs to have been publicly addressed, because even I'm starting to side with John. At first I was kind of like, well, I don't think that the collectors should be punished and not get to buy the thing that they want because we're seeing some QC issues. But then the more and more and more that I see, the less and less that I even want this item now, because even I'm at that point where it's like I don't think that the gamble is actually worth it. Or the headache, or all of the things, and I don't have the technical know-how of like a Doc Smizzle that can, rebuild his DeLorean if he needs to. Like I can't. Like if it comes complete, it's gonna look good on the shelf, and if it doesn't, I'm gonna have to send it back, and it's gonna be such a headache. I've had glue issues notoriously with feels like every hot toy I ever bring in the collection, but even that after a while, it's like you kind of chuckle and you're like, man, like another bit fell off the figure. Like even my Bo-Katan that I just opened the other day, I articulated the arms up so she could shoot, and I should have taken the shoulder pad off first to rotate the arm and then stuck it back on, but I didn't, and it ripped the Velcro right off with the glue and everything, and I had to sit there with crazy glue and re-glue it and all the good stuff, right? So it's at the point where I think that there is some level of figure fix. That's why Zach has that as an option within Collecting Weekly. Like, figure fix is a thing, sure, but
Excludes the DeLorean.
But yeah,
like
that is getting to a level that I think it needs to actually be publicly addressed. Or I do think collectors should vote with their wallets and be like, yeah, sorry, we're not buying this. Not until there's some actual improvement or recall or some level of apology even, or like anything. It's getting pretty sad. Again, I used to be able to throw plastic toys at a wall and it wouldn't break. Now you like breathe on it on the way past, and then like the arm falls off. Like that should not happen.
That costs
And if
much,
Ben
much
is starting
more
to
than those
cancel-
Barbies.
And it breaks my heart because Ben was so excited. Like it pisses
so
me
excited,
off
dude.
how happy he was and how like he stood by, and and I don't bring this up to like make Ben feel bad, right? It's just like, we have a job to bring this up to the community, and it's just
100%.
like
Wait a second, I'm working right now?
It continues to fucking be an issue, right? Big Dog Pound, happy birthday, John. Yeah, it's frustrating. To answer Jordan's question here, after Vegas, we had sent a bunch of questions to John to clarify in our John, and we're not only questions privately, but questions with other content creators. Many of those questions were unanswered under the "I'll ask Viper and find out." We never heard back from them. We've
Still waiting.
I want to say that we've even offered many times for them to come on our show.
I would
We've
stop
had them on
that.
plenty of times before. Yeah, at this point, it's just
He heard what
it
I
is
said
it
about
is,
the
but-
English comment, and he was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, screw those guys.
These guys.
Definitely not going on that show. Not with that Ben guy."
Yeah.
So
He just-
I think
he
it
doesn't
comes
need to
down
anymore. That's what it is.
Yeah, maybe. But I think what it comes down to is Hot Toys just has too much on their plate. They've got too many releases that they're trying to get through. They're behind schedule. Things are slipping through the cracks. Of all the Hot Toys I have, things break every now and then. Like recently, the Nightmare Batman Superman 2-pack. The Batman's gun, and I get that's a reissue, but it's so brittle. Just moving the pieces, I snapped like 2 pieces like nothing. So, all right, those are little fixes that you can do here and there. But when it comes to like these larger issues out of the box being broken, it is scary, and it does take a bit of the excitement out of it for you. Like Ben, I think he's not going to move forward with the DeLorean now, right?
I'm at that point.
Yeah, so he's kind of at that breaking point. For me, I have a bit more protection, right? At least I think. We'll see when push comes to shove. But I think, being in that pipeline from Sideshow, if there's an issue, I could send it back. I don't have to pay customs. It's not going to be on my dime. Yeah, it's going to be a hassle to send it back, but if it comes broken, there should be avenues to make it right. We also do know, and I was skeptical of this point before, but I've heard a few others that are overseas or in the Asian market talk about there not being issues over there, right? It's not really being broadcast that there are issues. So perhaps it is a bit more isolated than we initially thought. And perhaps with future batches, Hot Toys will, get it right or has already gotten it right. It sucks for those early adopters or the people that got it first, but it almost makes it as though you want to have the end of the line batch. I know I haven't received my Joker yet, but part of me is almost like, let them iron out all the kinks, and then when I get it, it'll be hopefully the best version possible. Same with the DeLorean. Hopefully it'll be the one that, has been stress tested before. But I get everyone's frustration because there's no communication. We don't know how isolated these issues are, how prevalent they are. It's just we're kind of guessing. We're spending a lot of money and putting a lot of risk on ourselves and not getting any backup from the company. So it is concerning, and it definitely gives me pause moving forward. But I still think I'm excited about all the products, even though I've seen the issues. Go ahead, John.
Riley says, I've had 0 issues with my NR Joker other than how annoying it was to put the sculpt in, which was a nitpick. Not sure if it's user error or I got lucky. Now, I've been hearing people having some difficulty with the portraits going in. But what was the last figure you guys can remember that was executed well by Hot Toys with no issues, whether with tearing seams, with anything?
Everything that I've gotten from them, honestly, John. Like I'm not.
No,
a
I'm
huge
saying
poser,
in the near future. In the near.
Well, so
around
Christian Cooper's asking, any of you guys getting the Chromando? So I've got Chromando right here. Okay. It's a really well done figure. I've had 0 issues with it. I know people were maybe annoyed by the weathering, but out of the box, it was perfect to me.
To play devil's advocate, it's also their 3rd or 4th attempt at that figure, and they've learned. I mean, that first figure. I know that there are some people that said they didn't have any issues posing it, but I literally could not pick his arm up or move his leg. Like the suit, maybe mine was a dud, but I mean, once I removed that fat suit and modified it, it was fantastic. But initially, it was like a statue almost. It was.
You even remember how they released that?
I would say Captain Rex had 0 issues. Clone Wars Ahsoka, I haven't really seen people with tears or anything on that one.
We've seen some issues.
I've seen
with that
tears.
one. Yeah,
I've seen
on the
tears.
shoulders.
Oh, have you?
On the shoulders.
Yeah.
I can't think of any.
Any of the like shore troopers that have come out for those don't have any issues.
But I'm
Like,
talking
yours is
about like
fading.
like a release, like a like a
my
big.
my Endgame Loki that I just got had no issues at all.
Well, I was also like fucking
Pretty
2
neat.
years late, but yeah.
It took a while.
3 years late.
And I think that kind of
They
goes
got
back
it
to what
really right.
I think that kind of goes back
Dialed
to what
in.
Marco was saying is that they're behind schedule. They're just trying to pump these things out. It's like, well, I mean, they're not fucking helping themselves. They just announced Kang. That's going to be 2 years out, right?
Yeah.
Stop announcing shit. Just get through your fucking catalog for like a year. Don't announce anything new for a year. Just
Yeah,
start
okay.
pumping
They
Just
might
figures
not
out.
be able to do that
Are you
with
crazy?
I don't
keeping
think
the
that
licenses.
works the
How
way
is that
their
possible?
money. Yeah.
Don't do it. And where are they going to get money from? Do you think these guys are doing well? These guys are pumping out releases because they need money because they're not doing well.
Well, their fucking
Yeah.
releases are shitty. They're gonna fucking.
Because what's going to happen now is Sideshow's going to start tightening their reins. When Sideshow starts tightening their reins, that's going
Which
to
I
ripple
think we've
effect.
already seen, right?
Of course,
The lower
of course.
pre-order numbers.
Of course.
What licenses would you guys want to see Hot Toys lose if
All of
they
them.
slowed down production to make other lines
Bro,
better?
just stick with Star Wars. Just
No.
At this
well,
point-
yeah, their Star Wars is not
no one's
bad.
buying Marvel figures right now anyway. All the Marvel movies that have come out have been pretty bad.
Yeah.
I
I
would.
don't
I,
see people
I don't want to see Hot
super
Toys lose
stoked
any
for-
licenses though, because okay, let's say like okay,
They need to get the
don't do
Rocketeer license, let's
DC
be
anymore.
honest.
Then InArt's got no competition for DC. Like I want all the competition possible. So
It's good for collectors.
Yeah, you like the
Yeah.
competition.
I would say if you're, I don't really fully understand how licensing works, but I got to imagine if you're the people that are in charge of that Back to the Future thing, you got to be seeing this shit. You're like more like literally the whole like, it's not necessarily a character, but I would almost say it's the main character of the movie, the DeLorean, and it's not
Right.
a good
it was
look for your
Doc.
brand.
It was the DeLorean. It was
was
just so-
Einstein.
everything
It's
this
all the way
year so
Einstein
far
came out.
has been crap.
But so I don't know how much it's damaged their brand, like maybe at our community level, but overall they had, is it Adam Savage that got his DeLorean, was all hyped, it brought attention to, other collectors that maybe didn't know about Hot Toys. So
That's the
overall
problem.
it could be a
Bro.
big win for them.
So hopefully those
even though
collectors,
the quality's shit.
hopefully
I
those
went through
collectors
that
come and listen to
video.
us.
With a fine tooth comb, I was hoping his fucking DeLorean would break at some point. But it didn't. I was like,
Bro, he manhandles his shit too. It's
I
pretty
know.
funny.
Did he order from BBTS?
I think he lives in California. He lives right down the road from Sideshow. I'm pretty
The only
sure
reason I asked is he got. It's funny we mentioned it
The
because
Ecto one?
I watched the Ecto one like
Yeah.
2 days ago. Yeah, that was awesome.
Well, I think
That was
that's the
awesome.
only way you can get that though now.
Things like
Is
a
through
fridge.
that,
It's huge.
Yeah, it's pretty big. Let's move on. I think we checked all the boxes here. So this was an idea by Ben Thomas, and Ben's the great idea guy. If you want great ideas, you go to Ben's channel. And I don't say that with any amount of jest. He really is. So he had an idea, and we're gonna do this like I think every week, every so often. A little bit of way to get the community involved. I know John's always big on community as well. So everyone drop your favorite pickup of the year so far, and we'll discuss / show them off. So, even having the Mafex symbiote Spider-Man, I still think that the retro Marvel Legends is my favorite pickup this year so far. Fun figure. I play with this thing like all day. It's bulletproof. And this was my favorite pickup. Victorino Juarez. My only pickup this year was Super Boo, and so
that's
he's
cool.
got the Kid Boo, Super Boo, and then I think it's Android 21 figure there. Alid Morgan, Mafex Hush, Batman. I spent most of last year regretting not picking him up, and I got lucky with a restock a few weeks ago. Mark Phillips, Mezco Crow, and John Constantine. These two come packed with accessories. You'll love to see that. Marco, a man of few words here. He has the Miles Morales Spider-Verse, which dibs when you sell that.
There you
Mike
go.
Cruz,
Dibs.
definitely
Never
SH
leaving.
Figure Arts Kakashi, but SHF Mando, a strong second. Although, Mike, you put this up for sale the next day, Mike. How dare you? Jason Nelson, tough one, but the most bang for my buck on bringing me joy is the Jack-specific Mario Bros. Movie Bowser. It's funny, I met with Jason the day before the day he found this, and he was like, dude, I'm going to go hit up a bunch of Targets, hope I find it. First one he found it was awesome. Cameron Downs, this unit was an absolute pleasure to build the Lego Rivendell ideas set, or icon set, rather. Dean Martin Vike from Elden Ring. You'll love to see it there. Figure arts.
Yeah.
Ben Thomas with Bo-Katan.
Loving it.
And Ryan, Mr. Mom with, Hot Toys Commando.
Great
John,
photo.
fantastic
Really
photo.
is.
What is your favorite pickup so far?
I have 1/6. I haven't gotten anything 1/6. I have one coming. Statue wise, I'd probably say that's tough.
Man, you've had so many bangers recently, bro.
That's a tough one. I'd say it'd have to be between DK3, this Batman here, and the Hush Superman.
Nice. Congratulations, buddy.
Yeah, because
Zach-
he wanted that Hush Superman for a while.
It's been a while, yeah. He's not very easy to find.
Ben, what were you saying?
I was going to say, when you went off screen there for a half second, you were like mid-sentence and then it went black. It reminded me of the end of Sopranos when the screen just goes
Oh,
black.
yeah. Wow.
Love to
Was
see
that
it.
I did?
No, it was Zach.
Oh,
did.
Zach did.
Sam says you guys need to incorporate John's Jeopardy to the show. That's a winner.
I charge
we
for that,
do-
Sam.
Yeah, we do. So we had done Jeopardy like a small scale, then John expanded it, and so once a month we do the final hot seat is the Oxpardy, but it's a much smaller scale than what John does. I just don't have. I don't want to keep you guys for 3 hours, so, and I don't want to be here for 3 hours either. I don't know how you do it, John. But yeah, Jordan Skinner says he got a standard in our Joker for $450. Man, those are going down too. We saw one right before the show started. It was something like $340 plus shipping on BST. It seems like that's going down too. Let's here we're at an hour 40. Let's do this here. So stay tuned. We'll be doing some more of these community questions on auxiliary. Now, the hot seat, I thought we'd have a little bit of fun with this because we had kind of a drama show today. Now, the topic is shit collectors say. And I'm going to start with Dean. And Dean, you're gonna give me a one-liner or like a thing that collectors say.
Yeah.
And then John, and then Marco, and then Ben. And we're going to keep going until there's just one person left. If you can't think of something, you're out. And 4 points for first place, and then 1 point for the last place. Oh, Fern says I didn't read his comment. I'm sorry, Fern.
He just did it right now.
Oh, okay. God damn it, Fern. What was it? I don't even see it.
It's his favorite pickup from Zach's Wonderlands. It's, the 3D printed Vader helmet.
Oh, look at that. Here, let's do that. Look at that from Zach's Wonderland. You'll love to see it. What a guy. Nice. Joker J said, I thought that said hot gear. How dare you? Okay, so Dean, start us off. Shit collectors say. I'll give you like 10 seconds before you're out.
Oh, I already. Okay. Glad I waited.
Fantastic. John, give me something that.
PM for price.
There you go. That's a good one too, Marco.
Shout out that I did my homework to see all of the Shane 1/6 Figure Focuses videos on these. So another reissue.
There you go, Ben.
Dopo or Nopo?
Damn it!
There you go. That's a good one, Dean.
Like new. Oh no, that doesn't work. Fuck. Shit. Yeah.
You're out, Dean. John.
Make me an offer.
There you go, Marco.
I'll just wait for the next version.
There you go, Ben.
The face cult could use some tweaking.
I like it. I give you that one, John.
I know what I have.
There you go, Marco.
Shrink Ray.
There you go.
Banger.
I give it to you. That was a toughie. That was a hard sell there. I'll help you out here, John. I'll give you guys a second of break here. Only open for inspection.
Wow. Okay.
Always see that, and it's like, bro, you were posting pics of that for like 2 weeks. What are you talking about? John, go ahead.
Okay, friends and family only.
There you go.
Apologies if this was already said, then I'm out. But in search of X figure at a good price.
Hey, I do that. How dare you?
Let's put some music on here.
FOMO.
All right, John.
I'll go out.
All right, Marco.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, I don't think they say that. Just kidding.
I totally see X actor in the sculpt. That's a reach. That's a reach.
That was rough.
That was. Let me give you this one.
All right.
Ben
Fair
has
enough.
won
Ben's a winner.
today. The one of my favorites is looks better in person. Our photos don't do this justice.
There you go.
Mine was a scenario, not a like. It's like only open for inspection, but they want like top dollar. It's like
I like Joe's must-have references. I fucking hate when people say references. You know who I am?
Where's Namor? Yeah, no doubt.
Hang on, let me add you guys' points up here. Ben
Where's Mark
leading
46?
strong.
I never win
Ben
this
with
game.
11 points, John with 7, and then Marco and Dean with 6 points apiece. Let's see what the chat says. Release Shazam, it's the lighting. Single jointed reissue Mark 46.
Yeah.
What's $25 NRD? I can afford that. After multiple pre-orders, not so much. In search of X figure that's in stock everywhere, aka I want this figure cheaper than you bought it for recently. That's my life right there. Joker J. That's not part of it. I hate Cos Baby. Where's Cyborg? Where's Namor? Museum pose only. ISO figured in stock on Sideshow, but I want a deal. Just
Was
got
Rick's
this bad
wallet
boy.
already-
It's from a smoke-free home.
Oh my God.
In search of insert Grail for under $300. PayPal ready. There you go. He watches the show. Is
Was
this still
Rip
available?
wallet already said?
No, but that's great too. Does this come with the brown shipper? No low balls. I know what I have. God, that's fantastic. PT Works says bargain bin. Yeah, that's a fun little segment. We'll keep up with these fun little hot seats.
Should I do my 30? Did I do my 1 minute right now or what?
Yeah. Go ahead, Marco. You won last month. You've been a busy boy. 1 minute on the clock, Marco. Tell us.
Very good. I'm actually not going to take the full minute, but I would say, first of all, we don't really celebrate our milestones so often, but almost at 1,000. So go check us out at 16fix. If you're not subscribed yet, get us to 1,000. So we're almost there. Nice little milestone we will soon hit. The other thing I have to say, public service announcement. When you're driving your vehicle, there's a little toggle, and it's going to indicate which direction you're going. If you want to go left, if you want to go right, just flip that little bad boy. Just give the other drivers a few seconds to know where you're going to go. Flip that turn signal on. It's not that hard, and it saves everyone a lot of headaches. That's it.
Did you get in a car accident or what?
No,
That's like a
but
grind
people
your
that-
gears segment there.
People that don't use their turn signal piss me off. It's like it's not hard. You just click it and then go into the lane. Don't do it while you're already going into the lane, though. It's way too late at that point. Anyways,
I don't know how people drive over there, but if you put your turn signal on over here, the person that you're trying to turn in front of, like actively
They speed up.
stop you from doing it. It's like,
that's fine, though. You know what? At least they know and they can get past out of the way, and then I can turn. But, at least we're all on the same page about what
What if
I'm
your bulb is
you're
out?
gonna. I'm giving you the courtesy of
That's
letting
a
you know
Straight
my
to jail.
intentions.
Straight to jail, John.
I'm giving you the heads up that this is my intention, and you're gonna actively try and stop me from doing it. Fuck you! I'm speeding
People
up.
are
I'm not using
dicks.
my blinker.
At what point today were you just like driving around and like, I'm going to use this in my minute tonight?
That's a
It
hot
rains-
seat there.
Damn these signals.
It rains today, and, people already don't know how to drive.
Immediately everyone forgets how to drive.
God, just
Dude,
like
we
so
still have
many
a foot
idiots.
of snow on the ground out here.
Oh,
At least
God,
you only
I-
get rain.
Wow.
The Canadians are probably so nice to each other. Oh yeah, you go.
It's
no.
kind of,
Oh,
I
don't worry
drive.
about it.
in Alberta, it's pretty
If you
true.
think I'm reckless on the streams, when I'm
wow.
driving,
John's,
I know,
John's
he's talking
filming
about
full
statues.
television
Oh, I
shows
don't
while
take
he's
no
driving.
He's watching Face Off in the
I
car.
don't take this bullshit. Speeding up, what Dean says is 100% right. Those bastards do that. I will hunt that guy down. I don't care where I have to go. Fucking give him the fangul.
Hey, he's just
Sean
driving to
says,
the closest Timmy Hortons. You know where to find him.
And then
Once,
Slifer
hold on, let me
saying
tell you
stop-
something. Oh, sorry. Okay, go. Once
No, I was gonna say. Go ahead.
yeah,
go.
go.
John.
No, go.
Slifer is saying stop tailgating. I don't tailgate. It's just like common courtesy. Come on.
Maybe their
Once-
blinker fluid is low.
Once I was driving and I cut someone off accidentally, and we were all in traffic, but he was more ahead, so I cut him off, and he pulls out a plastic baseball bat and waves it outside his window.
John, that's when you got to pull out the fucking blick. Don't do that.
So it's freaking plastic baseball.
Yeah, that's why you drive with a shotgun in the window.
Wow. Holy shit!
Okay.
Wow.
There you
Different
go.
rules in Texas.
Face Off, obsessed with bringing terrorist Castor Troy to justice, FBI agent Sean Archer tracks down Troy, who has boarded a plane in Los Angeles. After the plane crashes and Troy is severely injured, possibly dead, Archer undergoes surgery to remove his face and replace it with Troy's. As Archer tries to use his... What the fuck are you doing? As Archer tries to use his disguise, you're on mute, to elicit information about a bomb from Troy's brother, Troy awakes from a coma and forces the doctor who performed the surgery to give him Archer's face. Okay.
Sorry, you started talking about the movie without pulling up the logo?
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Look at... my apologies. A man can only know.
What a pro. What a pro.
This movie is exactly what I remembered as a kid. I have, like, vivid memories of the surgery scene, and then when he wakes up, and not John Travolta, who is now Nicolas Cage, but faceless Nicolas Cage, and even as a kid, I was like, no one handcuffed this guy? And also as a kid, I was like, why are they cutting his hair in the operating room? These are surgeons. They're not hairstylists. What are they doing? He's got like his flesh is off his face, and they're like giving him a buzz trim. At any rate, this movie is a fucking banger. I want to apologize for last week. I forgot how good this movie was.
Yeah.
It's a good fucking movie. And especially once they change the faces, once their faces are off, as they say, the acting is really good. It's really fucking good.
Yeah. They like become each other.
Yeah, it's really good. Obviously, you have to suspend a tremendous amount of disbelief for this film to make any sense. But the action is great. The gunfights are great. Everything is pretty good. I'm glad I watched this. This was a good movie. Dean, you made a good pick. And I think this might be the second time in my life I've watched it. But still, so much of this movie still is like a critical memory, like a recessed memory. It's a good movie.
Yeah, Castor Troy might be one of the greatest movie villains. Just the way he's written and the way he behaves, it's like that's kind of like what you picture a villain to be, right? Over the top, evil for the sake of being evil, just a piece of shit.
And he can lick a peach for an hour or two.
Dude, yeah, exactly. And then not only does Nick Cage deliver the character, but then John Travolta then has to become Castor Troy. And the dynamic between the two switching like that, it's so cool to watch on screen. Marco perfectly coined the phrase unhinged. This movie is very unhinged. It's wild, start to finish. Like Zach said, you have to suspend your disbelief because all of it is just fucking bananas. But it's so fun to watch. It's so cool. Everything, like the golden guns and fucking getting sucked in by a jet engine, and like everything about this movie is to the nth degree.
Bro, that chasing shit eats him like with 100 yards, bro. With a helicopter sideways, I was
chasing
like,
a plane with a helicopter was fucking wild.
Yeah, it's just a fun movie. Yeah, I love it. It's so cool. I can watch this movie pretty much anytime, so I love it.
7.3 out of 10 on IMDb. 1997. I think
92 on Rotten Tomatoes, John.
92 on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's
I think
for its high score.
It was kind of ahead of its time for its time. 1990, what was it? 7 it came out or 4? But I feel like it was kind of ahead of its time with the technology, and what they were trying to go for. John Travolta. What's the other one?
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage. And all I could think of was that figure, that portrait was really good. The one we were talking about last show, remember?
Yeah.
You said it was off?
It was better than I remembered it.
Yeah.
Like, when I saw this movie, I appreciated the sculpt more. I guess that's the best way to say that.
Action-packed. I enjoyed it. It's one of those shut your brains off because, like, they kind of transplanted the face. It's not realistic because if they were...
He had, like, no scars.
Like, come on, yeah.
They took the bandages off. He was good to go. It's like, what?
But it's one of those shut your brain off, enjoy. It's a good action flick with two all-star actors. So I enjoyed it. I don't really have much bad to say because I didn't take it literally or seriously. It was just a good flick to sit back and watch.
Bob Dylan says, synopsis, I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
Wow,
Joker
yeah.
J says, Ben has nothing to say about these actors' lips. Suspicious.
Oh my lord!
How do I go after that? So I think this all started when Dean and I were on Ben's show, and we were reviewing those figures, and I had mentioned I had never seen Face Off, and Dean was like, "How have you never seen Face Off?" He's like, "Bro, listen, you're gonna love it." Totally was right. Like I loved it. It's just so freaking unhinged. I love Nicolas Cage's portrayal. We almost need like a Nicolas Cage Joker at some point, because he just plays like such a whacked out villain. I loved from the start of it. I was like, this guy is just on a whole nother level. This is why Nicolas Cage is like one of the all time greats, because he could do stuff like this. So ridiculous that obviously directed by John Woo, who did some other really great stylized films. So you can kind of tell from the action, right? We got the slow motion, the golden guns, the sideways jumps. But yeah, the movie feels to me almost like a foreign film, because it's so nonsensical in so many ways. Like I've seen a lot of martial arts films that are just a lot of fun, but like the plot is just whatever. That's almost how it felt to me, where it's like, okay, they're just like going with the most bullshit setup, but it works. Like you have two really great leads and really great action set pieces and just really cheesy and like unhinged dialogue that overall I just incredibly enjoyed. So glad I finally watched this one, and this is one that I'd like to rewatch again in the future. I had to watch in 1080p. I know there's a 4K cut out there somewhere, so I want to rewatch it in 4K at some point. But what'd you think, Ben?
If I had said this felt like a foreign movie because it made no sense, I would have never heard the end of it. Just putting it out there. I
thought of it, Ben.
Really? Okay.
All right. Fair enough.
I love this movie. I'm glad you finally watched it. It does make me want those figures more. I will give you that, John. Like the haircut especially was pretty bad for Nick Cage. Castor Troy is a crazy dude. I think that the part that resonated with me most is definitely not their lips, but the way that both actors are able to play the same character on opposite sides. Like Nick Cage starts out so crazy, and John Travolta, his character is really relatively collected and everything. And then when they switch faces, they do a really good job of switching their persona and their acting style to really feel like it kind of is that person under the face, which is kind of well done. I like, in terms of an older movie, I thought that they nailed that aspect of it. It helped me suspend my level of disbelief on the fact that their bodies are different shapes and like they're different heights and builds and hair. Like there's a lot of difference there. The acting is what sold it, I think, surprisingly, because you would have thought looking back that it would be a little bit more campy and ridiculous than it felt. I remember this feeling that way, and I really, really enjoyed it. I think if I were to buy those figures, I would want both of them for sure. I don't think I would want just one or the other now that I've seen the film again. I think you'd have to have both with both.
You could technically have one to represent both, though.
You're not wrong, right? Joker Jay asked in the chat, would you buy a Hot Toys of Nick Cage Superman? I've got the black suited Superman behind me, and I know that's not necessarily a iconic picture, but can you imagine sticking Nick Cage's head sculpt on there? It'd be pretty cool. But no, I did like the movie. I think the only part that kind of threw me a little bit was when Nick Cage is in John Travolta's face or body, and he's kind of going after like the young daughter a little bit. It got a little like predatory with the young daughter, I thought.
In the beginning, though, he's harassing like one of the choir girls too, who's definitely seen
right. And so again, it's kind of the character, but like I thought they portrayed her as being like 15 or 16 in the movie. I could be wrong, but I thought that like she was like super young. So I was like, whoa, they took that further than I expected.
Toeing the line there.
Who's the director?
A little further than I expected, but otherwise,
97.
Otherwise, I thought it was a good movie. I really enjoyed it. Good pick, buddy.
Yeah, it's my turn.
Danko.
Sam says, "Don't you think your wife would notice a change of dick sizes?"
Wow. 1997, guys. Have some like 1997.
What are you thinking for your movie of the pick?
I'm gonna continue with Nicolas Cage, and we're gonna do Con Air
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Nice.
Cool.
Should have it on Disney Plus.
Okay. I don't know. Let me check.
Con Air on Disney Plus.
It's definitely not on our
no
Disney
way.
Plus. That's for sure.
It's on ours. It
Yeah,
should
they
be on
throw
your
Dave
maybe
Chappelle
Star.
out of a plane.
Maybe Star.
No. I'll have to see if I can get it because I had to pay.
If not,
$4
we'll
to watch
figure
this
something
today.
out then.
We'll figure something out.
We'll put it
I
up
think
on
I've seen
the
Con Air.
regardless, we'll put up the movie of the week on the Facebook group. So stay tuned
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah, of course. Dean, it's the time of the show where we say thank you to the Patreonies.
Yeah, the
keep
sweet
doors
angels, the three pillars to keep the show going. Give a quick shout out to Ian CB, Renee Mendez, Eric Mariscal, Quinn Aguirre, King Louis, Mark Pearson, Paul Schreiber, Equan, Chris Valencerina, Ben Thomas, Chris Letty, David Jones, Sam Giss, Daminators, Rob Bretta, Thomas Clark, Eric Switzer, Six Guns, Figs, Badfish, Toy Cartel, Sweet Danny Lee, Deanie Martin, Stephen Crett, Big Old Fern, Caesar Marquin, Mark Phillips, Lisa Martin Bomansky, Rick Gregorio. Sorry, Kevin is stepping on me. The Everyday Collector, Ricardo Valdez, Jose CZ, Erwin Azucena, The Illustrious Rainer, Aled Morgan, Tukothri Watt, Derek B., Arias Portillo, Mark Randolph, Alvin J., Jazz Carroll, Joe Ridley, Pablo Meza, D-Rock, Matt Clevenger, Seth Tucker, CC3PO, Scott Smith, Dalmadon, Jimmy James, Stephen Percha, Sean Usby, Scott Bradley, Steve and Maria Stanley, Kevin. Sorry.
Kevin's paying Patreon now? Wow.
Yeah. Sean Usby, Scott Bradley, Steve and Maria Stanley, Eddie Manznars, Louis Bennett, Chip Perrin, Jimmy Hernandez, Gigi the Judgmental, and Brenton Palmer.
Pew pew. Pew pew pew.
There you go.
Sweet angels. Our March Patreon benefit is the Papa Ox sticker, with April being the OFAC celebration sticker. So I technically misspoke last episode. My bad. But yeah, so you no longer have to go to Celebration to get one, but if you want a second one or your first, you can get one from Ian and Pete in Celebration. They'll have plenty to hand out there. And on Auxiliary, they will kind of work out where they're going to be and what day they're going to be there. Patreon starts at $5 a month for the digital tier. Sweet Angel, $7.50 a month, which is access to the stickers. And of course, the Ox After Dark replay. The $15 Crispy tier is the Certified Crispy Certificate and the Figure Fix Assistance. The $25 tier is the Pog Deluxe set and doubles all the stickers we send and all the benefits of the previous tiers. YouTube channel members, out of nowhere, we gained like 12 members over the last like 5 days. It's been wild.
Yeah, that's a big list.
Yeah, we lost some members that we hadn't updated in a while. So, but Mojo Z78, Absolute Erwin, LV Avenger 702, OMFG Rick, S Beam, Andres IB, Daminator, Sam Giss, Thomas Clark, Benjamin Hansen, Chris V, Big O Fern, Cram, Alvin J, Single Songwriter, Jake, OG Fan, Mark Pearson, Ben Thomas, Paul Schreiber, Andrew Gibo, CC3PO, Carlito, CT603, Eddie Mendez, B-Chan, Fat Batman, Justin Sports Cards Museum, Philip the Fool, Kinky Sphincter, Universal Key, Eclectic Collector, and Tukatri. We have, so the way that the emojis work on YouTube is you can get more the more members you have. And so we unlocked a new emoji. So on our YouTube community tab, you can actually comment what you would like to see if you're a member, if you want to become a member, and we'll take that into consideration and vote on them. But we're 4 away from another emoji, so it's like we like destroyed the goal to get the next one, and then like got more than halfway to the next goal. So we may be having 2 more emojis to add to the chat, but it is a fluid situation. So if we lose a bunch of them, I think we lose the emojis. I'm not quite sure how it all works, but yeah. So thank you guys for your support. That is tremendous that happened. And if you want to become a channel member and support the show in that way, for 99 cents for Patreon members or $2.99 for Peanut Gallery. Yeah, we do have to do a Seems Racial sticker. Looking at the network here, we had a great Monday night unboxing yesterday. After Dark tomorrow at 10:30. Thursday, we have OFAC. Friday, Club, doors open at 10:30. And then Saturday, this weekend was kind of weird, but I think Saturday we're going to try to do either Ox PD or Red Dead Redemption. Sunday's question of the week. So Definitely a full schedule that we have for you guys this week, and we appreciate you guys being here in the chat, watching live. I think we hit over 100 at one point. That was great to see. Sam says, "How about a Kevin sticker or an emoji?" Yeah, leave us a comment on that community tab, and we'll compile everything and pick some of our favorites.
We should have everyone on YouTube watching the show, because where else do you get this knowledge and amount of awesomeness on one screen? Nowhere. I can guarantee you.
Big facts. TeePublic, if you want to get any of our shirts, I think they're on sale at the moment for about $13-14. Be sure to check that out. And John, can you read the socials for me, please?
On Facebook, Collecting Weekly Auxiliary is the main group. Remember to check that out now. That we're going to be putting questions in there for the shows weekly. So be sure to check that out. On Instagram, @Collecting Weekly, @CollectingWeekly_clips, and @TheEverydayCollector as well.
Fantastic. Happy early birthday, John. Really appreciate you always being so active with the shows that you produce and in the group and as a watchdog for the community. We really appreciate it. So I hope you have a blessed day with your family and your friends, however you choose to celebrate it. And I think you deserve to have a fun day tomorrow. Other shout outs that I wanted to give. Let's see. My wife's out of town, so shout out to her. She doing business in I think in North Carolina. Actually I don't know. Maybe it's not North Carolina. I don't know. She's out of town though, but she prepped everything, so it's nice and easy for me taking care of the baby. Got all like the meals pre-portioned and everything.
Wow,
and
that's amazing.
What a saint! You really don't deserve her.
Okay, well you know what? Some people don't have. Never mind. But anyways, yeah. So that's.
I'd love to hear where that was going.
That's that. I'm gonna shut my mouth now. Anyways, yeah. Do you guys have any shout outs you want to give?
I'd like to give a shout out. Oh, go ahead, Ben.
Well, I was going to shout you out, but then every time I do, you lose a subscriber. So I don't know if we should. So you should
actually.
You go first. 10. You go first.
Just by the idea of you shouting me out. Just shout out to Rainer again for picking up these baby turtles. Just what a sweet guy. Found a bunch, sent them out really quickly. So yeah, what an angel, and hope that things are going really well with his business, and it seems like they are. So
cool. Shout out to Dean and Marco and Pete from OFAC and Sean Usby. So far, you guys have been able to kind of join my Sunday stream that I've been doing every Sunday. I'm going to bump it up an hour this week, so it's going to be at 4 o'clock on Sunday, my time. I think that's, I don't know what time zone you're in, Dean, but we had determined that's 5 o'clock. So I'll put a post on my YouTube or whatever, so people can join that. It's super fun. Pete from OFAC is going to be back, and we've got Hoth's Hometown Hero. He's a relatively new YouTube member, it seems like, kind of making his rounds, so he's going to join me on the show as well on Sunday. So make sure you tune in. The show is called Let's Get Nuts. It is a good time. We've had fun every Sunday so far. This is going to be the 4th episode. So yeah, don't make sure you don't miss it, guys. We'll see you there.
Shout out 12-inch Moose stream. He messaged me and sent me a nice message. So
I send you a nice message all the time. I don't think I got a shout out, but okay.
Shout out to everyone in the chat for the birthday wishes. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah. I'm so proud of Marco. He's almost at 1,000, and it's funny because I went back and found our first message, and
that was so funny.
I was like, wow, it's the beginning of a beautiful friendship, and I'm proud of him. He's almost at 1,000 subs, so let's get my boy to 1,000. Maybe we'll have a party when he does. That'd be great.
Heck yeah, we will absolutely have a party. And really appreciate you guys for pushing us to where we've gotten, and everyone in the chat for all the support.
Also, shout out Irwin. He sent me something that's pretty cool too. So
awesome.
It's just nice to have people in your corner that they see something like, I think Dean would like that, and send it my way. I think that's so cool. So
it's called enablers.
Yes, thank you for all the cool enablers.
I sent you a naughty pic the other day. You didn't even respond, so I hate to see it, Dean.
Nobody wants to see
it. I think it's still downloading.
Do you have this one, Dean?
I don't actually.
Oh, okay, so this maybe we'll send you this one, but that was Gigi wanted a bunch of comics, so we went and got her a few, and I was like, you have to get a Punchline one because that's Dean's favorite. So
yeah, I love Punchline. Yeah, I still have the one you gave me. It's right here. Well, I think it's right there.
Heck yeah.
But yeah.
Anyways, I'm Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm John.
I'm Marco.
And I'm Ben.
Catch you on the next episode.
Bye.